Mike Phelan, Ottawa Hills.
Rachel Greenblatt, Ottawa Hills.
Robert Cowie, Ottawa Hills.
Charles Carlisle, Libby High School.
Denard Summers, Libby High School.
Michael Fairchild, Libby High School.
Tim Tyson, Libby High School.
Welcome to this week's edition of High School Quiz with your host, Frank Venner.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 18th game in the current series on High School Quiz. Today it'll be Libby High School against Ottawa Hills, and the rules for High School Quiz are simple. We pay off on knowledge and quick response. Each of our players has a buzzer which activates a light. By pushing the buzzer and giving us a correct answer, the team will earn 20 points. If we get an incorrect response, the same question will be addressed to the opposing team, and that team will have a crack at 10 points for a correct answer. We'll be playing 2 periods. The decision of our judges will be final. And for today's game, the judges are Sharon Frankel from Waite High School and Stanley Fisher from Maumee Valley Country Day School. And an applause for the judges. We don't hear that very often. Anyway, we'll be back with the first question in today's game in just a moment.
More than 20 years ago, a black preacher stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and delivered a message to America. "I have a dream," said Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., "that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." Today, as one nation, we acknowledge our debt to a man who helped millions move toward racial equality. And his dream is fulfilled as we rededicate ourselves to a truly colorblind America. There can be no greater memorial to Martin Luther King on this national holiday than to defend the principle of equality of opportunity against all challenges. Let us finish the march that Dr. King was such a big part of, and let us make his dream of total equality a reality for generations to follow.
Celebrate Monday, January 20th, the first Martin Luther King Jr. national holiday.
Now we're ready for the first question in today's first-round match between Libby High School and Ottawa Hills, and here it is. The G.D. Searle Company manufactures NutraSweet as a food additive and Equal as a sugar substitute. For 20 points, identify the sweetening agent in these products. 10 seconds. What do we call it? This is Rachel Greenblatt.
Aspartame?
That's... Judges?
Aspartame?
That's pretty good, right? Close enough, right? Aspartame. That's what you meant, isn't it? That's 20 points. You're right. All right. How about this one? Rodolfo is in love with Mimi. Marcello is involved with Musette. For 20 points, what is this Puccini opera called? 10 seconds. Five seconds. This is Mike Fairchild.
The Barber of Seville?
No, not the Barber of Seville. A free 10-point guess for Ottawa Hills? No guesses. It is La Boheme. No points. The statement is familiar, but for 20 points, who said, "Our country, in her intercourse with foreign nations, may she always be in the right, but our country, right or wrong"? Who said that? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Rachel.
James Madison?
No, he didn't say that. All right, free 10-point guess for Libby. This is Denard Summers.
James Monroe.
Who was that, please?
James Monroe.
No, it was Stephen Decatur who said that, and we have no points. Now, listen to this one. This might not be as difficult as it will initially sound, but you've all heard about OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Well, they have 13 members. Seven of them are Arab countries. I want you to name any 4 of the 7 Arab OPEC members, and I'll give you 20 seconds to think over your answer. 4 of the 7 Arab OPEC members. And Denard Summers is going to try this.
First one's Saudi Arabia, second one's Kuwait, third one's Iran, and the fourth one's Iraq.
Well, as a matter of fact, that would not be 4 out of 7, and so a free 10-point guess for Ottawa Hills. No guesses. Okay, Mike, try it.
Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, and Egypt.
No, that would also be wrong. The one that you fluffed up on is Iran, really, which is not a member, correct? They are Algeria, Iraq, Kuwait, Libya, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. And so we didn't get 4. We had 3, but not 4. No points. The innocence of, the wisdom of, the incredulity of, and the secret of are the first 3 words of 4 classic detective stories by G.K. Chesterton. The remaining 2 words in each title form the name of Chesterton's hero. Name him. 10 seconds. Five seconds. All right, Denard?
Ellery Queen.
No, but I might have guessed that myself. That's not correct, but free 10-point guess, Ottawa Hills. It's Father Brown stories. Okay, let's try this one. They were all popular, but for 20 points, tell me which of the trilogy of Rocky films was the biggest moneymaker. Mike?
Rocky 3?
Yes, it was Rocky 3, the biggest for 20 points. It is called a river, but is more properly a 36-mile-long strait. Among its famous bridges are the Rainbow Bridge and the Peace Bridge, both of which connect the U.S. and Canada. Name this river between Lakes Erie and Ontario. 10 seconds. Mike?
The St. Lawrence River?
No, not the St. Lawrence. What is it, Ottawa Hills? It is the Niagara River, over where the falls are. You remember that? Okay, 2 out of 3. They aren't quite the Alps, but the United States now has 3 Winter Olympic training centers. Near what cities are they located? You only need 2 out of 3. Rachel?
Colorado Springs and Lake Placid.
That's right. Those are 2 of the 3, and the third is Marquette, Michigan. For your information, 20 points. The Civil War was over, but before the secessionists were allowed to re-enter the Union, what constitutional amendment pertaining to citizenship did they have to sign? What's the number, Rachel?
14th.
Yes, it was the 14th, 20 points. In 1966, Mao Zedong introduced a regime that thwarted the advancement of Chinese culture.
Cultural Revolution.
You've got it, Denard Summers. The Cultural Revolution, that's 20 points. 20 points for Libby. Now, if you name the jockey who became the first to ride mounts that have earned over $100 million, I'll give you 20 points. Who?
Willie Shoemaker.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am.
You're right. That's 20 points for Denard Summers. Here's a 2-part question. We need both answers. The father, Walter, won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and his son, John, won Oscars for direction and screenplay for this 1949 film. I want you to give me their last name and the name of the movie. The father was Walter, the son was John, and they made a great movie in '49, and what was the name of it? And I think I've got you, right? Nobody knows that one. It's Houston. Walter and John Houston, and the movie was The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Now, you'll have fun with this one. Panmunjom is a town synonymous with the signing of the Korean War truce, and meetings of the 2 Koreas are still convened there. Your simple question, contestants, is I want you to spell Panmunjom. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. This is Rachel Greenblatt.
P-A-N-H-M-U-N-H-J-O-N.
No, that's not correct. Now, how about Libby High School? Want to try to spell Panmunjom? No guesses? All right, Mike.
P-A-N-M-U-N-J-O-M.
That's correct for 10 points. How about that? Okay, you've got it. Right? Right. That's right, isn't it, judges? All right. The Green Hornet and the Blue Beetle were comic book heroes. Who wrote the adventure story entitled The Gold Bug? 10 seconds. This is Manish Jangjuwala.
Edgar Allan Poe.
He did do that, and that's worth 20 points, Edgar Allan Poe. The South has its own Mount Rushmore, the Stone Mountain. In what state is Stone Mountain, Denard?
Georgia.
Yes, it's in Georgia, and that's 20 points. There is only one single-digit positive real number whose factors add up to the number itself. It's also equal to 3 factorial. What is the number I'm looking for? Manish.
6.
Yes, 6 is the correct answer. That's 20 points. The Beatles had many hits, but for 20 points, which was their top-selling single? 10 seconds. Mike.
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Well, I'm glad you want to do that, but that's not the title of this particular song. Rachel.
Hey, Jude.
Hey Jude is right, and you have 10 points for Ottawa Hills. All right, the French relied on the Maginot Line as a defense against invasion. What did the Germans call, Mike?
The Siegfried Line.
Yes, they did, the Siegfried Line. That's correct for 20 points. In the Bible, King Omri's son, Ahab, married the daughter of the king of Tyre. Name her. Charles.
Jezebel.
You're right, it is Jezebel, and that's worth 20 points. Now, don't be afraid, but this is a 6-part question, and you might want to make a couple of notes. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization Pact was signed on April 4th of 1949. Here are your questions. Number 1, I want you to tell me how many nations signed it, and number 2, name any 5 of them. 15 seconds. Not your easiest of all questions. Mike.
First part is 6, and the second part is the United States, France, Greece, and England.
That would not be a correct answer. Free 10-point guess for Ottawa Hills. This is Rachel.
6 nations, United States, France, England, Canada, and Iceland.
Well, no, that's incorrect also. First of all, there were 12 nations, and they were Belgium, Denmark, France, Great Britain, the United Kingdom, Italy, Iceland, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, and the United States. All right. He's the first FBI agent accused of espionage against our nation. What is his name? Denard.
Robert Walker.
No, not Robert Walker. Free 10-point guess, Ottawa Hills. His name is Richard Miller. Richard Miller, the first one. And that's the end of round number 1, and we'll be back to check our score in a moment.
When I represented Whitmer High School on a high school quiz, I remember what was most important to me was getting the best grades and being accepted to the big-name schools, constantly striving for success. As a professional, I continue to think education is important, but I've redefined my ideas of success. I realize now that to think clearly and enjoy my life, I need more than books to stimulate my mind. I need the variety of experiences that comes with being a well-rounded individual. I think that's what the Center for Health Promotion at Riverside Hospital is helping others to learn. When I exercise or attend one of their classes, I feel better and relieve the pressures of working towards success. It's fun, and I found I can be more successful at things I never before thought were possible. Riverside Hospital's support of a high school quiz through a scholarship recognizes the importance of education. but it also encourages each of us to make our lives a quality experience each day of the year.
Imagine a time when ordinary citizens from the United States and ordinary citizens from the Soviet Union confront each other and talk. The time has come for a Citizens Summit, an unprecedented discussion with Phil Donahue moderating a U.S. studio audience in Seattle, talking freely via satellite with a Soviet audience in Leningrad, moderated by commentator Vladimir Posner.
Sure to be one of the most talked about shows of our time, Thursday at 7 on TV 13.
You sure look like a winner.
Weekday afternoons sure look like winners on TV 13. Divorce Court moves to 4. And backed by popular demand, it's The People's Court at 4:30. And then there's Maude, TV's Golden Girl at 5. Followed by MASH at 5:30. It's never been better. And it starts Monday on TV 13.
You sure look like a winner. That's the feeling at TV 13.
So far, we have just one question separating these two teams. The score at the halfway mark, Libby 130, Ottawa Hills 110. And we'll be back to resume our game in a moment. Now let's meet our contestants and find out some of their thoughts for the future. Here is Manish Jungjiwala of Ottawa Hills.
I'm a senior at Ottawa Hills, and I hope to go to Northwestern University to study medicine.
Thank you. And this is Mike Phelan.
I'm a senior at Ottawa Hills, and I'm hoping to study business at the University of Notre Dame.
Thank you. Rachel Greenblatt.
I'm a senior at Ottawa Hills, and I hope to study history and international relations next year.
Thank you. And Robert Cowie.
I'm a junior at Ottawa Hills, and I'm thinking about going into architecture and maybe a minor in music.
Okay, sounds good. Now let's try Libby High School and Charles Carlisle.
I'm a junior at Libby High, and I major in industrial automation.
Thank you. This is Denard Summers.
I'm a true senior this year, and I'll be possibly going to BG.
Okay, and this is Mike Fairchild.
I'm Mike Fairchild, and I'm a sophomore at Libby High School, and I plan to pursue a career in broadcasting. I'm undecided at where to go.
Okay. Tim Tyson.
I'm a senior at Libby. I plan to attend Howard University and major in law.
Thank you all very much for being with us. We have a very close game today. In round number 2, there's one slight rule change. This time, if you push the buzzer and give us an incorrect answer, your team will lose 10 points. Well, let's get on with it and see what happens. First question, part number 2. It was first enunciated by the physiocrats as a reaction to mercantilism and was then taken up by Adam Smith, who made it a cornerstone of classical economics. What is this two-word French term? 10 seconds. This is Denard.
Laissez-faire.
That's correct. Laissez-faire is 20 points worth for Libby High School. Her first name was the Italian city of her birth. Her last name is the name of a celebrated 6-inch songbird, immortalized. Rachel.
Florence Nightingale.
Florence Nightingale. That's right for 20 points. Here's a two-parter. We need both answers. This is one sport anyone who suffers from vertigo would do well to avoid. On May 29th of 1953, 2 men became the first to climb Mount Everest. Who were they? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay were the two. Remember them? No, you don't. 1950, that's too long ago, right? It has been studied for thousands of years. But for 20 points, what is the literal meaning of the Hebrew word Torah? T-O-R-A-H. Rachel.
Law.
Yes, law. 20 points, Ottawa Hills. He didn't get a busy signal or a wrong number, but what 4 words comprise Samuel Manish?
What hath God wrought?
What hath God wrought? That's correct for 20 points. Equally known for his spy stories, comedies, and more serious novels, this contemporary English writer started his long career of successes with the 1929 The Man Within, who also wrote The Third Man. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. Graham Greene is the answer. 2 out of 3 for this one. The Prince and the Pauper is a classic story that's been made into several movies. Here are your questions. Number 1, give me the name of its author. And number 2, give me the first names of either the prince and the pauper with whom he trades places. The author and the first names of either the prince and the pauper with whom he trades places. And the time is up. Mark Twain wrote it, and the first names would be Prince Edward and Tom Canty. The American Virgin Islands were purchased for $25 million in 1917. From what country? Denard. Please?
Denmark.
That's correct. Denmark, 20 points. It's a breach in the levee of a stream, and it's a deep fissure in a glacier. What is the common term? Breach in the levee, a deep fissure in a glacier. 10 seconds. Mike.
A fjord?
No, that's not correct. Free 10-point guess, Otto Hills. No guesses. It is a crevasse. Crevasse. In their quest for the presidency, the Battle of Tippecanoe did as much for William Henry Harrison as the World War II European Theater of Operations did for Dwight Eisenhower. What Indian chief did Harrison defeat? 10 seconds. Robert.
Tecumseh.
Yes, that's correct. Tecumseh, and that's 20 points. Here's a 3-part question. We need all 3. Your answer will be either the right side, the left side, or neither. And there are 3 questions. Remember, those are the answers. Number 1, the starboard side of a boat. Is it right side, left side, or neither? Number 2, the off side of a horse. And number 3, Long John Silver's and Captain Ahab's missing leg. Robert.
The first one is right and the second one is left.
No, that would not be correct. 10 off for Ottawa Hills. You heard the rest of the question. What is the answer, Libby? This is Tim.
The first one is left, the second one is left, and the third one is right.
No, the first is right, the second is right, and the third is left. We don't have any points for that one. They didn't play chopsticks, but what Western rock band was the first to perform in China? Mike.
Wham?
Wham, that's right, for 20 points. She was his 6th and last wife. Who was Henry VIII's last wife? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. Catherine Parr, P-A-R-R. The word myriad is popularly used as a synonym for very, very many. Myriad, however, properly refers to a specific number. Is that number 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, or 500,000? The word myriad, M-Y-R-I-A-D. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. No time left. It is 10,000, or the second one. Here's a 2-parter. We need the both answers. James Fenimore Cooper's 5-volume, The Leather Stocking Tales, follows the life of Natty Bumppo from his youth to his death. Here are your questions. Number 1, which novel introduces the young Bumppo? And number 2, which novel includes the death of the elderly Bumppo? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. The Deerslayer for number 1 and The Prairie for number 2. Probably Bing Crosby's most famous recording was White Christmas, but it was only his 2nd best-selling song. For 20 points, what other Yuletide classic was Bing Crosby's best seller? I know that goes back a few years. You have 10 seconds to come up with the name of that Yuletide classic. Time is up. Silent Night is the answer. I've never heard her referred to as an egghead, but what Greek heroine and wife of Menelaus was supposedly hatched from an egg? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. Helen of Troy. Okay, sports fans. Who's the only player to have received the MVP award in both leagues? 10 seconds. This is Mike.
Frank Robinson.
Yes, that's right. Cincinnati and Baltimore, 20 points, Ottawa Hills. 2 out of 3. In 1860, in the eve of the Civil War, there were only 3 non-slave states totally west of the Mississippi. Name 2 of these 3 western free states. 10 seconds. And as we said, they're all west of the Mississippi. 5 seconds. This is Denard.
California and Minnesota.
No, that would not be correct. 10 off Libby. Rachel.
California and Kansas.
No, that's also incorrect. Iowa, California, and Oregon are the 3. King Kong had his day until he fell for a beautiful blonde. Name Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey's most famous gorilla attraction. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. Gargantua is the answer. And that's the end of today's game. We'll be back with a final score in just a moment.
Ethnic Coalition for Fair Mass Media would like to pay special tribute to one of America's most renowned black civil rights leader and Nobel Peace Prize recipient, the first black ever to be recognized in America on January 20th, 1986 with a national holiday. We all have an obligation to remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for his nonviolent struggle for civil rights for all people and for making a great contribution to the world community.
Sometimes world issues hit home. When Bishop Desmond Tutu of South Africa arrived in Detroit as part of his 3-week tour of the U.S., 13's Winston Brown brought it home to you. And when a prison hostage drama unfolded near Ann Arbor, 13's Brad Ritter went live from the 13 News Center to bring you the latest developments. And coming up Monday, 13's medical consultant, Dr. Tom Welch, will open your eyes to the various diseases that can be detected by looking into the retina. Stay informed with Toledo's home team, 13 News.
In a close game today, the final score is Ottawa Hills High School 200, Libby High School 170. And we want to thank our judges today, Sharon Frankel from Waite High School and Stanley Fisher from Maumee Valley Country Day School. They did a fine job for us. We want to congratulate all of our contestants and remind you that next week on the high school quiz, it'll be Woodmore High School versus Summerfield. Now let's close with a well-deserved round of applause for our great contestants today.
All questions used in high school quiz are researched and authenticated by the Magazine Editorial Research Department of Time Incorporated, publishers of Time, Sports Illustrated, Money, Discovery, People, and other publications in the College Bowl Library.
Tell us all about it.
At WAMP, it's done right here.
Be sure to tune in to TV 13 on Saturday, March 8th at 1 p.m. as STN, the Student Television Network, will be sponsoring a program featuring WAMP Radio.
And as a special treat this afternoon, we have an exclusive interview with Kenny Rogers.
School kids got together and on their own initiative raised $400,000 in the subway and different places. And while I think that locally you certainly don't expect to raise that kind of money when the kids get involved, the involvement is the key.
But first, let's visit Toledo's grade school children who participated in the 2nd Annual Invention Convention. Stay right where you are. We'll be right back.
H&R Block found Fong Huan a tax refund of $583.
I couldn't have done it without you.
H&R Block found Mike Monacle $2,498.
Couldn't have done it without you. We're pledged to finding you the biggest refund you're entitled to. This year, let H&R Block do your taxes. Get back everything you've got coming.
I couldn't have done it without you.
H&R Block, where more Americans find a bigger refund.
What can we find for you?
All you gotta do is think refreshments. And you can move that can right into your hand. Come on, concentrate. refreshment. Can't you taste it?
It's not happening. I'll take a break. Kravitz, could you think down?
Hello and welcome back to STN. What do you get when you take a few hundred students from schools all over the city and encourage them to apply basic science skills in a creative and productive method? Well, you get inventions that make your life a whole lot easier by cooking your food, shoveling your snow, cleaning your car, or even planting your spring garden for you. Next, our STN reporter Tanya Rodriguez and our camera crew will take you to see some of these wild creations.
Over 400 students from 44 elementary schools participated in the second annual Invention Convention recently held at Bowsher High School.
Last year, starting in August, we, with the Horizons program, which is a gifted and talented program in the system, the Toledo system, put together an invention convention based on our Silver Burdett's elementary science program, which was new last year in September.
The first invention convention held in January 1985 went over so well that Horizons decided to make it an annual event. What is an invention convention? Well, the inventors tell the story best.
What's this? It's the automatic plant waterer. What does it do? How do you work it? Well, what it is it waters your plant.
When I was at home, I was thinking something for my invention, and I usually can't reach my code at home, so I thought this would be a good idea.
The inventions included everything from the silly to the serious, and at least one serious inventor was on hand too. Rebecca Schroeder, a native Toledoan and also the inventor of many phosphorescent and fluorescent products, began her inventing career at the age of 10. Today, she has 9 U.S. patents and 5 foreign patents. This year, Rebecca was the guest speaker and the judge for the Invention Convention.
Who helped you think of it? Who helped you with this?
Actually, in the very beginning, I didn't have any help. Until I kind of convinced my father that I felt that I had an idea, something that could work. And from there, as far as the support, my parents were a very big help to me as far as support.
The inventions were judged by science teachers in the Toledo Public School District and various community sponsors. The students' inventions were judged in 8 different categories, ranging from the pet and animal care to health and safety habits.
What are they looking for here?
Something that's a little bit unique. A lot of inventions here may be something that's similar that have been invented before. However, there might be some that have a whole unique aspect to it, and that's what basically we're looking for as judges.
As the night went on, there was an awards presentation in which awards were given in each category. The overall winner was a 4th grader from Old Orchard School, Ramsey Chambers.
It's a turbo homemaker and it makes holes for seeds. I really didn't come up with the price. I said one price and my mom told me to go higher.
And people exercising their creativity, it's there, and that's the neat thing about it.
Yeah.
Well, we've just seen one of Toledo Public Schools' unique programs. It's truly wonderful to see our elementary school students creating and inventing. Who knows, their sometimes crazy, sometimes serious ideas could be the basis for our future. We congratulate them as they follow the track of technology and wish them good luck as they work towards the third annual Invention Convention and the future.
Speaking of the future, there is a program that has been around since 1919 and has prepared many youth for the many social and business experiences ahead of them. Junior Achievement, a nonprofit organization, has been quite active in Toledo. JA provides an educational hands-on experience in the vast world of supply and demand. Our reporter Donna Sharper and the STN crew will tell us all about it.
Junior Achievement is a nonprofit organization which helps young people learn to produce goods, market their wares, make money, and prepare for the economically oriented world that faces them.
It's not necessarily for people that just want to go into business. So there's social contact,
There's working with advisors. There's exploring different fields that you might want to go into. You do production, sales, different types of administration.
Students are organized into centers spread throughout Northwest Ohio. Each center contains several companies that are run by achievers. Students, along with the guidance of volunteer advisors, form companies throughout the area.
I learned how a business is run, and I basically learned how you have to act and things that need to go on to be able to run a business.
I'm the president of our company, and my basic job is to act as a leader for the company.
Each company decides on a product and the price for the item. Raw materials are purchased and the goods are assembled accordingly. Now that labor of preparation is over, the real work begins, selling their wares at the annual Junior Achievement Trade Fair.
This year we have over 3,000 students participating in our 1JA evening program. This is really their big weekend to put it all together.
Well, you've learned basically teamwork, and that it takes everyone to build and to sell.
I've learned how to, just be more myself than anything else, and then not to judge people on their appearance, but on the way they are inside.
Even though the trade fair is over, the excitement of junior achievement lights the way to the excitement of the future.
We've just seen how students turn creations into business, and before that, how and what our elementary school students have invented for fun. To find out more, we took our STN camera out to ask the question, if you could invent anything in the world to do anything you wanted it to do, what would you invent?
If you could invent something to do anything you wanted it to do, what would you invent?
I think a husband that does housework.
I'm not going to say anything.
A machine to do my college term papers.
How about you, ma'am?
A machine to make money.
I like to drive cars that go really fast, so I would invent a car that would go like 1,000 miles an hour.
Something that would take care of little kids automatically.
Oh, a free airplane.
Okay.
I could travel all over the world for nothing.
What would I invent if there was anything I could do? What's a hard question?
Gummy bear machine.
So I guess I'd invent some way to make it so my kids wouldn't live in a world where there are bombs.
Some sort of brain, you know.
What would you invent?
A homework machine.
Now that's a great invention. We learned a lot about new things by doing that story. And coming up, you'll learn all about this new program called STN. In fact, many of you are probably wondering just exactly who we are and what we're doing. If you haven't noticed yet, everyone involved in this show is under the age of 18. In a few minutes, we'll tell you more about the Student Television Network, its purpose, and its results. Also ahead, if you're a bit confused as to what the true definition of what a WOMP is, still to come is a feature story that will clarify the subject. This is a unique and somewhat hidden element of the Toledo Public Schools, involving a very special few, but reaching many. And don't forget, we have a very special treat for you in this afternoon's show. So stay tuned. There's so much more to come.
Take it from Dave Lennox. Now you can have a new Lennox Pulse gas furnace that fits almost anywhere in your home. Our Pulse keeps you comfortable while it pays for itself. And we have a plan to fit your plans. Call one of these independent Lennox dealers today.
You'll always be comfortable with Northwest Services.
Because service and installations are our specialty.
Attaboy, Mike.
Gerhardt Plumbing's proud to serve Wood County with quality Lennox products and planned service.
All you gotta do is think refreshments. And you can move that can right into your hand.
Come on, concentrate.
Nothing.
Think harder.
Think big refreshments. Can't you taste it?
Yeah, it's not happening. Let's take a break. Oh, Kravitz, could you think down?
A message from the Ohio Student Loan Commission.
I didn't even think I could qualify for a loan.
It's a great feeling when you know you're finally on your way.
My old job's gone for good. But guess what? I qualify for a retraining program. I'm going to college.
I'm truly thankful. In another year, I'll have fulfilled my agreement to teach here, and my student loan will be completely forgiven.
So call us or ask your financial aid officer. The Ohio Student Loan Commission, helping Ohioans prepare for the future.
Next on Small Wonders.
She's a perfect robot.
Vicky raises the roof in the movie she was made for.
Who knows? I may be another Steven Spielberg.
So what could possibly go haywire?
Willis has to go to the bathroom. I'm not programmed to go to the bathroom. We better make this movie quick.
There's just no end to the laughs on Small Wonders.
Cosmic Fun, Saturdays at 7:30 on TV 13.
Welcome back to STN. The moment has now arrived for us to tell you a little bit about ourselves. You know, as high school students, we're interested in learning about a lot of different things, and that includes learning about what we would like to do with our futures. It's not often that we have the chance to learn about careers firsthand, but a program such as this has given students the opportunity to learn and get involved. Many of us, like myself, are interested in the field of communications, and that could include newspapers, radio, or even television. STN gives us some experiences in many aspects of television broadcasting. In a moment, one of our reporters, Amy Rogers, will take you back a few months to see how this project got underway, and we'll find out what's happened with it since.
The idea of a magazine program produced by students originated in Fresno, California. Sue Yeager, Director of Communications for Toledo Public Schools, heard about the program and brought the idea back to Toledo. Here she united with TV 13 with a purpose in mind, and that was just the beginning of STN, Student Television Network.
The goals that we have for the show are, number one, that the students that are involved in the program are given hands-on experience about what television is all about. Our number two priority is to provide information about Toledo Public Schools to the public and to whoever is watching the program.
To select the staff, applications were sent out to all Toledo public high schools. Out of approximately 140 9th, 10th, and 11th graders who responded, about half were interviewed and auditioned on camera, and 25 were selected.
I enjoy communicating with people, and I think it would be a lot of fun. I'd like to work with teenagers and older people. I think it would be a good experience for anything.
Next, it was time to mix a little fun with our work, but at the same time, we learned that television isn't all glitter and glamour. Once we picked the name of our show, the work had to begin. The students set out not only to learn, but also to produce this entire show.
Well, I think we can provide students an opportunity to learn television, learn how to produce a local show, to learn how to do television out in the field as you would with a news operation, writing stories, researching stories, taking cameras out on location. It's something that you have little opportunity to do even in college and almost no opportunity to do on the high school level.
TPS students, this is one extracurricular activity which could possibly turn into a career for some. While one group is learning the news end of the business, being hosts, writers, researchers, producers, and reporters, another group is learning the production side of television. This group consists of editors, photographers, audio technicians, directors, and more behind-the-scenes jobs. This is just an example of the ability of today's youth. It is a fun and worthwhile experience that has taken a lot of our time. However, we're not done yet. There's 3 more shows to come.
Now that you understand just exactly who we are, you can see that we're learning many profitable skills that will be quite helpful in pursuing careers in the future. We are all very proud of the work we've done so far, and we plan to continue the hard work through the production of the next 3 shows.
Another form of the media is radio. Though not on camera, radio broadcasting is a significant challenge in areas such as writing, producing, directing, and reporting. Believe it or not, there is a place where students can learn the waves of the sound waves for credit at one of our city's high schools. Bill Wagner and the STN crew will take us to WAMP Yes, WAMP radio station, to find out all about it. Speaking of which, aren't you involved in that, Julia?
Yes, I am, Beth. And you know, it's really nice to know what television is all about.
I think so, too. So take it away, Bill.
One of the better-kept secrets of the Toledo Public School System is WAMP radio station at Scott High School, located on 88.3 FM. It started 11 years ago, and it is a program of marketing education for juniors and seniors from all over the Toledo area who seek a career in broadcasting, either in radio or television. The amount of involvement at the station depends on whether you are a junior or a senior.
Junior year, it's more academic. We learn the basics of communications, learn the basics of how to run a radio station, and then hopefully by the senior year, I can rely on the seniors to basically run the radio station while I break in the new junior class.
One of the seniors who works at the station is blind. For him, learning which button controls which piece of equipment was not easy.
That took me a little while, and once in a while I still get mixed up, you know, if I count one too far over, like a turntable or something, but it's getting better every day. I think the more I do it, the better I get.
The students are able to work on the air from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday, giving them the chance to develop their skills. Experience is one reason for taking this course, according to one student.
Well, I'm very interested in radio and the way it operates, and I thought that this would give me a good chance to get experience.
The average class is from 20 to 25 people, and each one does on-the-air broadcasting. Because of the low enrollment, anyone who is interested is eligible for the class. Despite the small classes, students agree they learn a lot about radio and the successful operation of the station. Part of the success of a radio station is promoting its programming, and at WAMP, it's done right here.
Be sure to tune in to TV 13 on Saturday, March 8th at 1 p.m. as STN, the Student Television Network, will be sponsoring a program featuring WAMP Radio and other stories such as an interview with Kenny Rogers, Junior Achievement and Invention Convention, and find out more of what STN is all about.
If you are interested in radio broadcasting, are hardworking and dependable, and go to a Toledo public or parochial school, then this class is for you.
Seems like every one of us has a favorite recording artist who we like to listen to on the radio, but have you ever dreamed of actually meeting your favorite celebrity? Maybe a movie star, a television actor, a dancer, a musician, or even a singer? Well, few of us ever really get the chance to do that. At most, maybe we get to go to see a concert or a play. But to actually shake hands, sit down, and talk with a famous person in showbiz is a phenomenal experience. Not too long ago, our STN reporter, Sherry Ebley, accomplished that far-fetched goal when she had an exclusive interview with a singer known around the world. We'll find out all about him when we return.
Now, for the first time on TV, the home gym that treats your body to a 9-station workout to get you quickly on the track to a slimmer, trimmer figure. Trim Track, durable, no-nonsense construction, compares to the big workout gyms. Yet Trim Track can be yours on this special TV offer for just $29.95. It's a rowing machine, perfect exercise for flattening the tummy, and your love quality touches like the padded seat and smooth as silk track action. A hard-working exerciser, yet more fun than a backyard swing. The padded footlock is perfect for sit-ups, gives you a trim, tight waistline. Powerful spring handles make Trim Track great for leg curls, for tight buttocks and slim thighs. Hop on your knees for arm curls. Does miracles for arms and neck and chin. There's the shoulder shrug, the neck press, the leg lift, and our own exclusive aerobic workout tones chest, flattens the tummy, and puts you on the track to tip-top fitness. If you're even thinking about getting back into shape, don't spend hundreds of dollars on a home gym. Don't sign up for classes you'll never get to. Most of all, don't wait another minute. Have your credit card ready and call now. If you don't see real improvement in a flatter tummy, tighter waist, tonelier legs and calves, just return Trim Track and owe nothing. Don't wait. Get on the Trim Track. It's the fast track to the slender, younger figure you've been dreaming of. Just $29.95. Have your credit card ready and call now. Here's how to order.
Thousands sold at $39.95, now only $29.95. Call 1-800-228-5500 or send $29.95 plus $5 shipping and handling to Trim Track, Department 63, Canton, Ohio 44750. Or have your credit card ready and call 1-800-228-5500.
Hello and welcome back to STN. Well, here's the part of the show we've all been waiting for with bated breath. Yes, we are extremely proud to say that out of all the television and radio stations that wanted an interview, we of the Student Television Network were the only people fortunate enough to grab the chance to meet and talk with this world-renowned country music star. We are ecstatic at having this as part of our first show. Our only problem now is topping it, wouldn't you say, Jeff?
Yeah, I'd say that'd be pretty difficult.
Well, we'll soon find out.
Yes, well, our own Sherry Evely asked Kenny Rogers a few questions, and here we have this interview. Kenny is heavily involved in the World Hunger Movement, and here's how we got started.
About 6 years ago, I met the late Harry Chapin, and in the process of talking to him, Harry was one of the most unselfish people I've ever met in my life. He would do literally 100 concerts a year and donate all the proceeds to World Hunger. He was absolutely obsessed with solving this problem. And most importantly, what he convinced me of was that it was a solvable situation.
How do you think the youth today can help in this fight?
Well, I think that the big key, you know, it's always been my opinion, and it has nothing to do with age, but my opinion is that people who know will care, and people who care will help. And so I think that the most important thing is if the kids today, as I think was proven very well in New York City when we had our World Hunger Media Awards, one of the awards of recognition went to this group of school kids in New York City that got together and raised money for Africa. School kids got together and on their own initiative raised $400,000 in the subway and different places.
What advice would you give to a young adult pursuing a career in music?
Make sure it's what you want to do, because it's that old saying about be careful what you wish for because you may very well get it. You know, this is not totally a glamorous life. Musically, what I would say to them is the single most important ingredient to a successful entertainer is that you must absolutely love what you're doing, because the odds against success are tremendous.
Well, that wraps up the first edition of STN, the Student Television Network. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed doing it. And we hope you learned a little bit about what's going on with the students in the Toledo public school system.
But keep in mind, this is just our first show. We have 3 more yet to come in the months ahead. In fact, we've already started working on our next edition of the Student Television Network. In it, we'll feature the Dial-A-Teacher program and discover how teens volunteer their time to help others.
Plus, we'll find out about a student exchange that takes place overseas with 4 students, and we'll check the Writing to Read program. All this and much more happens here on STN, Saturday, April 5th at 1 p.m. But in the meantime, be sure to keep your eyes open because you never know where the STN camera will be. See you then.
Hello and welcome to STN, the Student Television Network. My name is Sherry Ebley and I'm a sophomore at Woodward High School.
And my name's Donna Sharper, a sophomore at Rogers High School.
And we're your hosts for STN.
Our first story for you today is about a group of teachers who go beyond their regular classroom work. They spend their time 3 days a week, 4 hours a day after school to help students.
We'll also show you how many German students are enjoying another successful year of an exchange program called the Friendship Connection.
And we'll check out what teens do after school to enjoy their free time. Surprisingly, they are not playing baseball, running track, or watching television.
Are you bilingual? Well, one of our STN crews was on the prowl to ask you that question and to find the answers for our Man on the Street segment.
And if you think 5-year-olds can't teach teenagers a thing or two, just wait till we take you to an elementary school where computers are anything but elementary.
Also in today's edition of STN, if you're looking for something really fun to do in the next few weeks, stay tuned. We have a lot of fun ideas for you.
See this and more coming up next on STN, so don't go away.
All you gotta do is think refreshment. And you can move that can right into your hand. Come on, concentrate. Nothing.
Think harder.
Think big refreshment. Can't you taste it?
That's not happening. Let's take a break.
Kravitz, could you think down?
People recovering from strokes or automobile accidents, with speech problems or other ailments which impede their return to normal life. These are some of the people served by the MCO Comprehensive Rehabilitation Hospital team. Our multidisciplinary team of health professionals helps them set and attain goals for independent living, for vocational and educational competency.
For state-of-the-art care, look to your University Hospital at the Medical College of Ohio and the MCH family.
A student's life is full of a lot of fun activities, such as spending time with friends, participating in sports, and attending various club meetings. But with the fun also comes the not-so-fun requirements, such as studying and taking tests, writing term papers, and, of course, doing homework.
What do you do when you run out of answers for your homework questions? Well, we all know we can ask the baseball or track coach, but now there are a few people you can ask, and they're just a phone call away. Our STN reporter, Jenny Jakeway, and crew have all the answers for you in our next story.
Homework, I hate it. Have you ever felt like this? If so, Dial a Teacher is a program you have been waiting for. Okay. Dial a Teacher is a service that involves several teachers who spend many hours each week helping students with homework problems. It is available to students in 1st grade through 12th. All the students have to do is dial a teacher and explain the problem. The program started last October as a joint venture between the Toledo Federation of Teachers and the Board of Education. It operates out of the Board of Education and benefits all Toledo area students. The purpose of Dial a Teacher is to offer guidance and understanding rather than answers to any problem a student has in any school subject.
No matter what grade level or what subject, we felt that we should be able to provide the service on 3 nights a week for those students or parents.
The idea for this program was adopted from a similar one in Rochester, New York, and now, throughout the country, programs such as Dial a Teacher are beginning to thrive. Before the program began, over 60 teachers were interviewed to be a part of Dial a Teacher. Finally, 10 teachers were selected and the phones began ringing.
Hello, Dial a Teacher, may I help you?
How is the S sound spelled? With what letter? Yes, okay, let's look at the second one.
There are now 2 teams of 5 teachers. The teams alternate each week, so the phone lines are open Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 4 to 8 p.m. Since there are only 10 teachers involved, they have very hectic schedules.
I normally have a part-time job. This is supplemented with my pay. So along with both ideas, it worked out pretty well for me.
Each team also has 1 team leader to evaluate the effectiveness of the program.
My basic job is to do the statistics for the program. We keep records of what school the students are calling from, what grades the students are in, and what subjects they are getting help with.
If you are a little curious as to why teachers spend so much of their after-school time answering homework questions, the teachers in the Dial a Teacher program say there are many reasons.
I thought it was an interesting program, so I applied more or less to see what it was about.
The program has been a tremendous success. In fact, the administrators and teachers have found that they receive more than 3 times as many calls as they originally planned to get. How many calls do you average per night?
About 140, around that. It fluctuates depending on the time of the year.
Are you wondering if the program will be offered next year? Well, since the program has already gone over so well, students in Toledo can count on the help of Dial a Teacher during the next school year. So remember, if you have any problems with your homework, just pick up the phone and call Dial a Teacher. 729-8000. For STN, I'm Jenny Jakeway, the Board of Education.
Now that's a number every student should remember. It's 729-8000, and it's just one way teachers spend their time after school to help others.
Speaking of things to do after school, many teens break the basic routine by getting involved in volunteer work. Now, we understand not all of you have time to volunteer, but if you do, there are a lot of places that can really use your help. And to give you some ideas, here's our STM reporter, Beth Treadaway.
After school, students usually spend their free time doing anything from playing sports to working at a part-time job or just hanging out with their friends. But many of Toledo's youth choose to volunteer their time and services to worthy causes throughout the city. One of the more common places that students volunteer is at the local hospitals.
Our volunteers at St. Vincent, I feel, are very special. They give of their time, they give of their talent, and any student that's here at 7:30 or 8 in the morning has to be pretty special.
Here at St. Vincent's, volunteers do jobs such as working in medical records, transporting patients from place to place, or working with small children in pediatrics. To find out what volunteering in a hospital is all about, we took our STN camera and crew to St. Vincent's to ask the students what volunteering has taught them.
Responsibility, to be able to be here on time, you know, uniforms pressed.
Confidence. They take a great deal of pride in their work and what they do.
You may wonder what makes the students want to volunteer. We found that the work they do can be very rewarding, but each volunteer has personal reasons for giving of their free time.
Just meeting all the patients and, seeing them smile at you, especially when they're feeling sick or something, and you talk to them. And if you just make them smile, it just makes your day. It's great.
All the employees really treat you, like you're an adult, and they really accept you as a worker, and they like the way you treat it, and it's really fun. It's just playing with the kids and helping people out. It really gives you a good feeling.
Hospitals aren't the only organizations that need volunteers. If you're looking for a place to volunteer your time, here are a few good ideas for you to consider. The Northwestern Ohio Lung Association has positions in office work for volunteers age 18 and over. The Darlington House is a Jewish home for the aging. They need teen volunteers for the summer to assist in many activities. St. Anthony's Villa needs volunteer help on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 6 to 7:30 p.m. They also need summer help. The Sunshine Children's Home needs helpers for the Special Olympics on May 10th, and they also need summer volunteers for everything from recreation and ministry to groundskeeping and maintenance. The American Red Cross uses volunteers age 14 and over in youth leadership, festivals, bloodmobiles, and their telecare program. Camp Courageous is a summer residence for mentally and physically disabled children. They need counselors from mid-June through August. For more information on these and other volunteer opportunities, call the Voluntary Action Center at 244-3063.
In our next segment, we have a story about foreign exchange. So our reporter, Jenny Zunk, took a survey to find out what you think about studying foreign languages. Now keep in mind, we don't always agree with the results of our surveys, but then again, it's your opinion that really counts.
Do you feel that foreign language should be a part of high school curriculum, and why? Yes, I do, because I think it'll help for us to relate to other countries, you know. And without it, I think that we'd be in a lot of trouble for people coming over from other countries.
Everybody should know another language besides English. In the foreign countries, they learn English and other languages, and I think we should too.
I'm in German right now, and it's teaching me different cultures and how to, you know, how different people think and stuff like that.
Yes, I do, because all over the world it's mandatory, and just speaking one language is pretty limited.
Not too many high school students go abroad, so it's good that people have math skills and English skills that need to know how to read and write first. Then foreign language would be second.
Well, I think we should, because I myself have been taking French, and I think it's very fulfilling to take it, and you learn a lot. If you ever go to a foreign country, then you'd be able to participate and talk.
Geez, probably not, because, you know, there isn't really any time that you're going to use it unless you really go on vacation or something like that.
My daughter takes it. She loves it.
Okay. Do you have anything to say?
I definitely feel it should be important in a high school curriculum, because I went through it just like everybody else did, and it really expanded my knowledge of not only my own country, my own language, but of the other countries and what goes on over there.
I think it should be part of their curriculum only if they're like sent to a foreign country to then practice the language and understand why they're studying it. So many kids take it as just a course and slough it off, and they don't even remember it after they've, you know, graduated from school. It needs to be practiced.
I think it should be a part of high school curriculum because everyone should be able to expand their horizons on education.
Well, that's the first half of our show, but there are still more stories to come today on STN. For example, vacation time is coming up, and a lot of you probably have some ideas about faraway places.
Next on STN, we'll introduce you to some teens who have visited places that most of us only dream about. Plus, while those students are hard at work learning a second language, some 5-year-olds here in Toledo are working on their first. All this and more when we return here on STN.
All you gotta do is think refreshment. And you can move that can right into your hand. Come on, concentrate.
Nothing.
Think harder.
Think big refreshment. Can't you taste it?
That's not happening. Let's take a break. Kravitz, could you think down?
There are some things fine furniture must be. Beautiful, comfortable, and affordable. For the area's largest and most beautiful displays of fine furniture, it's Sampson's, featuring galleries of Drexel Heritage, Pennsylvania House, and now Contemporary. Sampson Furniture, where fine furniture is truly affordable.
A message from the Ohio Student Loan Commission.
I didn't even think I could qualify for a loan. It's a great feeling when you know you're finally on your way.
My old job's gone for good. But guess what? I qualify for a retraining program. I'm going to college.
I'm truly thankful. In another year, I'll have fulfilled my agreement to teach here, and my student loan will be completely forgiven.
So call us or ask your financial aid officer. The Ohio Student Loan Commission, helping Ohioans prepare for the future.
Jeff Ford, Continental.
Marty Miles, Continental.
Amy Warline, Continental.
Dennis Potts, Continental.
Lisa Taylor, Kenton.
Anna Brown, Kenton.
Laura Taylor, Kenton.
Warren Cook, Kenton.
And this is Frank Venner inviting you to join us on Sunday at 12 noon for the 29th game in the current series on the high school quiz.
Willkommen noch einmal. For those of you who didn't understand, what I just said is, welcome back in German. And then up next, we have a story that involves students who not only learned a foreign language, but practiced it in its native land. Now, maybe your ideal vacation would not be of a trip to Germany.
It might be to Spain, Hawaii, or even Hong Kong. But for now, just sit back and relax while Michael Fairchild takes us away, well, at least for a few minutes.
Almost everyone would like to travel to foreign countries and to learn about other cultures, but few of us have the chance to do that, especially when we are teenagers. But here at Bowsher High School, many students have already traveled overseas. Other students have plans to go to foreign countries in the near future. In fact, many students at both Bowsher and Rogers High School in Toledo have the opportunity to visit other countries, and each student has different reasons for participating in the school's foreign exchange program. Some of Toledo's students have shared their homes with foreign exchange students from Germany. This sometimes led to the American teenagers visiting Germany as foreign exchange students themselves.
I had 2 exchange students who were sisters, and then I went and stayed with them in Germany for 2 months. And they surprised me and invited me to go with them to Italy on their summer vacation. So I saw quite a bit. I traveled a lot with them.
Many of us think that there are major differences in the lifestyles found in the United States and in foreign countries. We asked Tracy Davis, who has been to Germany, if she thought there were any differences between American schools and German schools.
Their schooling, they go Monday through Saturday, and it changed every day. Sometimes you'd be there from 8 to 1 or 8 to 10, or sometimes 8 to 4:30 on the longest days. And every day you were studying a different subject. So, you know, it was different. You didn't, and the teachers came to you. You stayed in the same classroom all day. So, you know, it was a real big change from what we have here.
Even though the schools are different, it doesn't mean the students who attend them are much different from American students.
Tough question. I think it was just as easy to relate with German students as with us. We really became to be good friends. I really can't think of much difference.
Of course, not everyone is fortunate enough to be a foreign exchange student. There are some requirements. You have to pay for your transportation to and from the foreign country. However, your room and board are taken care of by your host family. And it also helps to know the language.
If you go there, you have to have 2 years of German experience. But if they come here, they'll have like 6 years of English, so they'll speak about it as well as we do.
As a matter of fact, since we produced this story, 9 German students are visiting Toledo to study our language in Toledo Public High Schools and to learn a little bit about our way of life. This program seems to be a success, the way the students are learning about different people, different customs, and so on. Now, maybe if we could get the adults in this world to learn about each other, this world could be a better place to live in. For STN, this is Michael Fairchild. Auf Wiedersehen.
A lot of students are lucky to learn a second language, but some of us are still working on our first, especially 5- and 6-year-olds. If you're over the age of 7, chances are you learn to read and write the hard way. These days, as our reporter, Cliff McGahee, found out, many kindergartners and first graders are learning 2 of the 3 R's in a very special program, and they have very special teachers and teachers' aides to help them. Since we produced this story, Jenny Guilford, a computer aide, passed away. But as you watch this story, you will see that she was a very important part of the Writing to Read program.
5 years ago, going to school just meant the usual reading, writing, and arithmetic. Now in 1986, it's a lot different. Last year, the Toledo Public School System adopted the Writing to Read program. What exactly is the program? Well, Sue Yeager, Director of Communications for the Toledo Public Schools, explains.
Writing to Read is a computer-based curriculum that teaches kindergarten and first grade students how to read and write.
We went to Burroughs Elementary School to see one kindergarten class in action and to find out about the program. Peggy Forkwer, a Writing to Read teacher at Burroughs, explained the program to us.
We are starting off on the computer, and at the computer they are listening to the words, and then they are typing the words that they hear. This helps them with their consonant sounds and their vowel sounds.
Can you explain to me how you use this?
Yeah, we, when they say type, we type the word. And when it says clap our hands, we do it. And then when it says we're all done, we're all done.
And from that table, we usually send them to the writing table where they work on their own stories. And they learn to read what they write.
Can you tell me what you are writing here?
Yes.
Can you read it for me?
Yes. My cat and wheel.
Good. Did you do all of this today?
And it's working, and from that station they go to the typewriters where they type them. So that gives them another opportunity to form the words and read the words.
For the teachers and teachers' aides, the Right to Read program is a successful way for children to learn the basics at a very young age.
That's very good, Melanie. And you did that all by yourself. Fetch. Very good. Okay, let me see you color that real pretty. You can't see it. Oh, let's see. My cat ran. What else? Can you tell me what you wrote there?
Can you tell me your opinion of the Right to Read program in one word?
In one word, exciting.
As you can see, computers are the trend of the 80s. They are not only used for business purposes and fun and games, but they are also a very important learning instrument as well.
Good. And Tracy, what did you write today?
All you gotta do is think refreshments. And you can move that can right into your hand. Come on, concentrate.
Nothing.
Think harder.
Think big refreshments. Can't you taste it?
That's not happening. I'll take a break. Kravitz, could you think down?
There's an epidemic in this country. Thousands have the symptoms, yet will be ignored until it's almost too late. And that's tragic because there is a way to stop it. With Z-Bart Used Car Protection. Z-Bart Rust Protection with Rust Eliminator can now save your used car, while Z-Bart Paint Protection brings back that new car shine. Let's face it, we all have to go sometime. To Z-Bart, that is.
Check the white pages for the Z-Bart Center nearest you.
If we learn to build when we are young, we will grow up to be better builders. If we learn how to think when we are young, we will grow up to be better thinkers. If we learn to respect and help each other when we are young, we will grow up to live in safer, better communities. Children are our most valuable resource. The time and effort we give them are investments in the future. This has been a message from the Toledo Association for the Education of Young Children.
I'm a woman without a past.
It's official.
Oh, it's a tragic story.
The Lawsons are filing a plan
Oh, good thinking.
to adopt Vicky.
But what about her parents?
But when the computer chips are down, Jamie dons a dress.
La la, numbly gloom.
How gross can I be?
Watch Small Wonders.
Promise.
Wouldn't be the same without you.
Cosmic Fun, Saturdays at 7:30 on TV 13.
Now that spring is finally here, it means that students from all over Toledo are enjoying spring vacations. But we are also busy preparing for upcoming proms, plays and concerts traditionally held during the spring. Now we know that it's impossible to tell you about every event that is scheduled for the next month, and it's impossible for you to see them all. But we hope that many of you plan to attend at least some of the spring specials. To give you an idea of what's coming up, here's Julia Gardner with our calendar of events.
On April 10th through the 17th, the Wallbridge Elementary School will put on their PTA Book Fair. April 11th, DeVilbiss High School will present its talent show. April 19th, the Purple and Gold Alumni Ball will take place at Wade High School. April 25th, the Celebration of Dance at Birmingham Elementary will take place. Shenanigans will be performed at Start High School April 25th through the 26th. April 28th, the play April's Rebellion will be performed at Marshall Elementary. April 30th, there'll be an art festival at Burroughs Elementary from 9 till 4. May 9th, Fallmeyer will have its school carnival. And there are a lot of spring concerts scheduled for Toledo Public Schools. April 15th, Walbridge Elementary, Fallmeyer Elementary on April 24th, April 25th, the Chamber Ensembles at Start High School, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Reveillees, a student spring musical at Bowser High, and on May 7th, Way High School represent their spring concert.
Well, that wraps up the second edition of STN, the Student Television Network. We hope you've enjoyed the past half hour as much as we enjoyed producing it.
As you have noticed, the 21 students involved in this show are all under the age of 18. That's because we are all high school students in the Toledo Public Schools. Working on STN gives us a lot of experience in television broadcasting. In fact, we're already working on our third edition, which will air May 10th at 12:30 here on Television 13. Then, STN will take you into the creative worlds of the arts.
As we close our show today, our photographer, Lori Postman, takes us into the magical land where wishes and fashion make for an enchanting prom.
And welcome to STN, the Student Television Network. For those of you who haven't seen STN before, it's a monthly show produced by high school students in the Toledo Public Schools. My name is Carrie Lipton, and I'm a sophomore at Bowser High School. Now that the summer months are here, many people will be looking for a summer job. So coming up, one of our STN crews will take you through a step-by-step process of getting a job. But of course, for those times this summer when you're not working, you'll still want to look your very best. To give you some ideas, some of our very own STN students will model some great new summer wear.
Hi, my name is Jenny Zunk, and I'm a sophomore at Star High School. We know that summer is here and that school is finally over, but today on STN, we would like to acknowledge and honor those students who have achieved academic excellence. Coming up, one of our STN crews visited one of the area high schools' academics awards ceremonies just to see how such scholars are honored. And later on in the show, we'll find out what some of the class of '86 plan to do in the future.
Hi, I'm Beth Chartaway, a sophomore at Bowser High School. Recently, the students on STN were recognized at a Toledo Public School Board meeting. Coming up, we'll check out how the students and TV13 were honored. And over the past 6 months, we've shot a lot of video for our stories here on STN. Along with all the tape, there are a lot of mistakes. Looking back on all those mistakes we've made really makes us laugh, even though at the times they were made, we were doing everything but laughing. So sit back and be prepared to laugh along with us when STN returns.
Does anybody have any change?
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
People recovering from strokes or automobile accidents, with speech problems or other ailments which impede their return to normal life. These are some of the people served by the MCO Comprehensive Rehabilitation Hospital team. Our multidisciplinary team of health professionals helps them set and attain goals for independent living, for vocational and educational competency.
For state-of-the-art care, look to your University Hospital at the Medical College of Ohio and the MCH family.
Welcome back to the Student Television Network. Well, school is out and summer is finally here. There's always a lot of free time in the summer. Some people fill it up with fun in the sun, and some people use the time to start a new project or even get a job.
Getting a job can be a very difficult but rewarding experience. The profits are also well worth the time and effort. However, there are a lot of important things to remember for a successful job search. To give you an idea of how to get started, our STN reporter Jeff Ball will take you step by step through the process of getting a job. That process includes an interview, dressing for the interview, and a lot of other general do's and don'ts.
During the next few months, many students will be looking for ways to pay for college, a car, or just trying to earn some extra spending money. They can do this by finding a summer job, doing anything from bagging groceries to working at the local clothing store. Before obtaining a summer job, you must first go through several steps. An interview is one of those steps involved in getting a job. Your first interview can be a very frightening experience. You may not know how to act, what to wear, or even how early to get there. Well, we took our STN cameras out to show you just how to, or how not to, go about getting a job. After speaking with several employers, we made a list of do's and don'ts that you should remember for your interview. Do greet the employer warmly. Shake hands when appropriate. Do have a typed resume with you if needed. Bring the names, addresses, and phone numbers of reliable references. Do take good care of your resume. Don't wrinkle or rip it. This will not help in making a good impression. Don't let a short attention span draw you away from what the employer is saying. Be polite, honest, and alert. Listen and remember what the employer is telling you. Ask questions about the company. Let them know that you're interested in the company and the position.
I would really like to know what the potential for growth is in your company.
We then spoke with Pat Schneider, a manager with Kroger's Supermarket, about what she looks for when hiring teens.
I look at their appearance, the way they're dressed, neatly combed hair, other makeup is applied if it's girls. If it's in excess, it doesn't make a good appearance. General appearance, friendliness.
Recently hired employee told us what she feels employers look for during interviews.
Probably honesty. Number one, honesty, you know, because they're going to have you work for them. You know, you're not being timid or scared, you know, like, oh my God, what questions are they going to ask me, you know? Just be really outgoing person.
Other qualities employers look for when hiring are maturity as well as promptness. They also feel that it is very important for you to show an avid interest in the job. In case you missed any of our do's and don'ts we told you about earlier, we brought them back again for you. Do dress conservatively. Be well-groomed, neat, and clean. Have a typed resume with you if necessary. Bring the names, addresses, and phone numbers of reliable references. Greet the employer warmly. Shake hands when appropriate. Listen to what the employer is telling you. Ask questions about the company. Make the person aware that you are interested in the company. Don't fidget. This shows a lack of interest. Don't chew gum. It doesn't make you look good. Don't let your attention wander. Well, after all that, I hoped you learned a little something about getting a summer job. It's not all fun and games, but if you follow these rules that we told you about, they'll be sure to help you out when the time comes. I know they sure helped me.
A summer job may be difficult to find at first, but don't give up. With a little persistence and determination, soon you'll be rolling in the dough. You can spend some of that money you've earned on a brand new summer wardrobe. Some of our very own STN students recently went down to Benetton's at Portside to model some of this summer's hottest fashions. I hope you enjoyed seeing those smart summer fashions from Benetton's at Portside as much as we enjoyed shooting that photo essay. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at some smart high school students in the area who finished up their high school year at a banquet honoring their academic achievements. Then we'll see what some high school seniors had to say about their plans for after graduation. All this and much more coming up today on the Student Television Network, so don't go away.
Somebody have any change?
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
I've got muscle. My Snapper lawn tractor. It has the power to cut tall, heavy grass down to size.
I keep my house clean. Snapper's High Vac keeps my lawn clean, just like my vacuum. So the most work I do is empty the twin bag catcher.
I have a big appetite. So does my snapper. I can feed its wagon 30 bushels of grass at one sitting.
Buy a Snapper tractor today and receive the mower attachment free. Instant SNAP credit available from your Snapper dealer.
In the last segment of today's edition of the Student Television Network, we took a look ahead at the summer months. Now, coming up on the second half of our show, our STN reporters and camera crews will take us to a few events that happened just before the last school bell rang for this year.
When school was about over and graduations were held, several special awards ceremonies took place throughout Toledo. These honors weren't athletic awards, but academic awards. Toledo Public High Schools held ceremonies for their top students with academic excellence. The banquets were very special occasions, and our STN reporter, Kim Flights, was at one of these ceremonies which recognized students with exceptional grades.
Toledo Public High School students who have worked hard all year to achieve a 3.0 or higher grade point average are honored at the end of the year in an awards banquet. While we were here at Maycomber Whitney's banquet, we asked some of the students how important their good grades were to them.
Real important, because I feel that in order to get anywhere in life, you have to have a good education. That's why.
Well, I think it's very important because my grades have got me a lot so far. Went to school over the summer, got a scholarship. I've gone to an academy. They're very important.
Each of these students have strived to maintain high academic standards, but we learned that they are also very active in many other areas of school life.
I'm on the varsity volleyball team, and I'm the class president of our VICA Society.
Been involved in volleyball and track as managers and tutorial program at Maycomber, and debate club.
We know all of these students are extremely active both during and after school hours. The high achievement came more easily for some than for others, but did they have to give up a lot in order to earn those good grades?
Not really too much. See, I guess I got a good memory, so I don't really have to take up too much time studying.
I had to give up a lot of social time, time like that. I spend a lot of time studying now.
Obviously, these students have been hardworking and dedicated to their studies. But what are their plans for after high school?
I plan to go to college and become a computer major, computer technician, or maybe a lawyer.
I plan to attend college for architectural drafting.
I hope to go to college for a few years, and then after that, I wouldn't mind starting a small business concerning computers.
All of Toledo's high schools honor their outstanding students with an awards banquet at the end of the year. While we can only make it here to Maycomber Whitney's, we would like to honor all the Toledo Public High Schools valedictorians and salutatorians.
High school is really a time to have a lot of fun by being involved in after-school activities such as sports or even the Student Television Network. But of course, getting a good education is really what high school is all about. And getting good grades is something to be really proud of.
We would like to congratulate all of the students in the Toledo area for their academic achievements. and we hope they will be just as successful next year. We would also like to wish a special good luck to all of the recently graduated seniors with their plans for the future.
Many seniors have different ideas of what their life after high school will be like. There are many hard decisions to be made. College, of course, may be included in their plans, but some teenagers have other ideas in mind. One of our reporters, Mark Johnson, and our STN crew asked a few seniors what their plans were for after graduation.
Well, I'm going to work this summer as an electrician, and then in the fall I'm going to Bowling Green and taking up communications.
What type of communication?
Broadcasting, radio, and television.
I plan to go to TU and major in international relations.
Why did you choose international relations?
Because I like to communicate with other people and I want to see other cultures.
As of right now, I'm going to be attending the University of Cincinnati and majoring in jazz studio work and basically following up with the saxophone.
I plan on going to Bowling Green next year, and I'm going into business.
What do you plan to do after high school?
I plan to attend Indiana University, and I'm going to major in journalism. I plan to go to TU and major in sports medicine.
Well, I plan on going to Navy or Air Force and try to get into laser engineering.
Why laser engineering?
I really enjoy it. It's also the wave of the future, lasers are.
Right now, either I'm going to be working at the graphics group full-time, or I will be going to Bowling Green or Terra Technical.
Why Bowling Green?
Because Bowling Green was the closest college to Toledo that offered graphic arts, and they have a superb course offering.
Well, I'm planning on attending Bowling Green State University as a music major with a communications minor. Hopefully after that I'll be off, head out to LA to be a struggling musician as it may be.
Attending either Ohio State University or Toledo University and majoring in electrical engineering.
I will go into the Air Force and become a navigator for the Air Force Academy. After that, I hope I to go into political sciences, hopefully one day operating in the Pentagon.
What do you plan to do after you graduate?
I plan on being in the field of cosmetology.
And what is that?
Doing hair, nails, skin, makeup.
Do you enjoy it?
Yes, it's a lot of fun. I plan on attending Findlay College, taking up bilingual business education.
I plan to stay in the electrical field, which I'm already in right now because of through school. One day I plan to own my own business and have little employees like I am right now.
I'm going in the Navy.
Maybe I'll get a job with TV13.
Get rich.
Getting rich and working in television are thoughts that run through a lot of the minds of the students here on STN. The Student Television Network has been a terrific hands-on experience for working in television on camera and behind the scenes. We and the students of the STN would like to thank TV13 and the Toledo Public Schools for this fantastic opportunity.
At a recent Toledo Public School Board meeting, Ruth Scott, the superintendent of schools, honored each of the students on STN by presenting them with certificates of appreciation, and WTVG a huge plaque framing the story about the Student Television Network, which was published in a recent edition of the Sunday Blade. On hand to receive the award from TV13 were Vice President and General Manager of WTVG, Buddy Ray, Director of Operations, Marcia Schroeder, Director of Community Affairs and STN coordinators, Gwen Dickerson and Bob Smith. We would also like to recognize our coordinator from the Toledo Public Schools, Mary Kay Sanford.
Whenever our reporters and crews go out on shoots, the reporter has to do what we call stand-up. This is when you see the reporter talking on camera. Speaking from experience, these stand-ups take a long time to do because it seems that when the camera is on you, you always make mistakes. Coming up, you'll have a chance to see just what our reporters must go through to do a stand-up, and you'll be surprised to find that it's not as easy as it looks. So stay tuned to STN. We'll be back to show you some of the fun we've had during the past 3 shows, so don't go away.
Somebody have any change?
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
There are some things fine furniture must be. Beautiful, comfortable, and affordable. For the area's largest and most beautiful displays of fine furniture, it's Sampson's, featuring galleries of Drexel Heritage, Pennsylvania House, and now Contemporary. Sampson Furniture, where fine furniture is truly affordable.
Pasta lovers, rejoice! Introducing new French's Pasta Toss. Real cheeses, savory herbs and seasonings. You just shake on buttered pasta to toss yourself a pasta Alfredo. Italian, cheese and garlic, and more. Try new French's Pasta Toss and toss yourself a pasta tonight.
You're young, you're graduating, and you've got a lot of choices to make. Drinking and driving, make the right choice. Don't.
If you're in the 6th grade and live in the DeVoe district, join us at Robinson Junior High School for the Academics Plus program.
For information, call 243-3391.
A local production that soars with spirit. See A Chorus Line at the Franciscan Life Center June 6th through the 15th. Call 243-9277.
Welcome back to STN. In this segment, Jeff, did you happen to know we're on here?
We are?
Yes, we are. Embarrassing moments. We've all had them. Something you did or said that you would never want anyone to see. Sometimes, no matter what you do, you just can't make your tongue say what you want it to.
Here on STN, it's not uncommon for one of our reporters to make one of those so-called bloopers. During our past 3 shows, we have made our fair share of foul-ups. Unfortunately for most of us, those bloopers were caught on camera, and of course, we saved them. Since looking at these mistakes can make you feel better about your own.
When the camera comes on and the lights are on you, along with everyone's eyes, it's very hard not to forget your lines completely or to just break up laughing. And as you will see, this is exactly what our reporters went through after saying the same lines over a dozen times. So sit back and laugh with us and see our best bloopers.
This program seems to be a success. The way the students are learning about different people, different customs, and so on. Now,
And now that that labor of preparation is over, the real work begins.
Though every instrument is important and indispensable to a band, there's one in particular I love the best. For Beth Corey,
3, 2, 1. So remember, if you have any problems with your homework, just pick up the phone and call Dialer Teacher, 729-8000.
Part of the success of a radio station is promoting its... Promoting its... Programming.
As you can see, computers are the trend of the 80s. They are not only used for...
Most high schools have spring plays and musicals. Wait a minute. There's lots to learn about foreign countries, and I'll start over.
Wait.
I can't.
You go.
Homework. I hate it.
for STN, this is Michael Fairchild, auf Wiedersehen.
Well, there wraps up this year's 4th and final edition of the Student Television Network. We do hope you've enjoyed this show and the other 3 just as much as we've enjoyed producing them. Once again, we would like to wish those students in the class of '86 the best of luck. We'd also like to thank all of those students who participated in this year's Operation Prom Graduation by making their lives drug and alcohol-free.
STN has been a great learning experience for us and you. We've learned just what it takes to make a television program run, and you've learned so much more about the students in the Toledo Public Schools and how we are helping to make Toledo a better community.
Thank you for making the Student Television Network's first season such a huge success. We're taking the summer off, but don't worry. We'll be back on the air in the fall with twice as many shows and twice as many crew members. So next year, when school starts, watch out, because you'll never know where our STN camera and crew are going to be.
Find Indy champion Bobby Rahal, you find high-performance equipment here and here, where the Rahals designed their home to include the top performance and efficiency of natural gas. They enjoy the warmth of gas heat, the perfect results of gas cooking, and the economy and reliability of a gas water heater. The Rahals are sure they have a real winner with natural gas.
Now, a sneak preview of the refurbished Statue of Liberty.
Give me your tired
of high car prices.
Your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
Free from high-pressure new car salesmen.
I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
And you can save a lot of gold at Disaport Nissan. Clean up with big savings and receive a free auto vacuum with any vehicle purchased from Disaport.
Lanes available just about any time.
Our choice, dancing, movies, or shopping, but we chose fun rolling. Try it and see why we like it.
You'll like it.
STN proudly kicks off its second year Saturday afternoon at 1:30 with a report on the new academic standard for athletes. No pass, no play. Then we'll sound the trumpets to the beat of life in a marching band. Talk to the animals and some students who are involved in a vocational work program at the Toledo Zoo. And offer a few secrets to get you started on the road to successful studying. Don't miss the season opener of STN, Saturday afternoon at 1:30, only on TV 13.
In a come-from-behind victory, Ottawa Hills edged out Maumee 200 to 150 and wins the right to move to round 2 here on the high school quiz. Our thanks to our judges, Judith Burton from Defiance and Mel Ogrodowski from Whitmer. Their teams, Whitmer and Defiance, meet here next week on the high school quiz. Now let's close with a big round of applause for all of today's contestants. We hope to see you next week.
All questions used in high school quiz are researched and authenticated by the Magazine Editorial Research Department of Time Incorporated. Publishers of Time, Sports Illustrated, Money, Discovery, People, and other publications in the College Bowl Library.
Introducing the all-new 87 Plymouth Sundance, the unbelievable American car. The best value of any car in its class. Plus, check out the elegant Chrysler Fifth Avenue, priced thousands less than Cadillac DeVille.
The pride is back, born in America again.
Hurry
Hurry to Grogan Chrysler Plymouth, home of the Price Breakers.
This month, Pick Weight Work shoes, selected styles, 30% off. Men's new buck insulated 8-inch leather boots, only $24.49. Pick Weight shoes.
Ted buys the present of his dreams for Joan.
Like I always said, one gorgeous fox deserves another, huh?
But there is a problem.
You said it. Hot's the word. Look, no beating around the bush. Hot is, hot.
Shame! 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 Shame on you!
The Lawsons move the merchandise when Ted's gift gets too hot to handle.
Discount Biggie's the name and bargain.
Come home to Small Wonder, Saturdays at 7:30. The girls are on the loose in Paris Monday at 5 on The Facts of Life.
Good afternoon and welcome to the second season of STN. My name is Lori Postman and I'm a senior from Bowser High School.
My name is Audrey Flowers and I'm a senior at Whitworth High School.
And I'm Michael Fairchild, a junior at Libby High School. In case you're not familiar with the Student Television Network, we'll tell you a little bit about it. STN is an educational program reported, written, edited, and photographed by Toledo Public High School students in cooperation with WTVG TV 13.
This is the first show of the second season, and we expanded from 4 shows last year to a total of 6 shows this year. During this edition of STN, we'll tell you about the new concept around the nation for maintaining academic standards for high school athletes, where if you don't pass, you don't play.
We took our cameras behind the scenes at a practice and at a game to find out how much hard work goes into being one of the 82 members of the Rogers Rams marching band.
6th graders from Arlington and Gungle Elementary Schools went to camp for the week. We'll tell you about what they did during their educational and fun learning experience.
We have a calendar of various fall events to keep you informed about activities happening in and around Toledo for the rest of October and November.
And some area high school students are spending time with the animals. We'll tell you about a vocational program where students learn about animal care at the Toledo Zoo.
This and more in today's edition of the Student Television Network. We'll be back to start today's show after these messages.
1987 Dodge cars and trucks are here. Check with Charlie's Dodge, home of the cheaper deal, and make your deal on a brand new 1987 Dodge car or truck. Check with Charlie on the new 1987 Dodge cars, trucks, 4x4s, and vans. And check with Charlie on the biggest selection of new Dodges around. And listen, if you want a brand new 1987 Dodge pickup, Charlie's got them. Check with Charlie's Dodge, home of the cheaper deal, 725 Illinois Avenue, Maumee.
Your investment in comfort can begin with Zimmerman Heating Company.
Many companies offer you gimmicks, free gifts, rebates.
But what you really want is improved comfort, lower energy costs.
Our only gimmick is dependable comfort, quality installation, proven reliability.
I started in 1949.
37 years and generations to come.
Your investment in comfort can begin and end with Zimmerman Heating Company. Call them today.
We're stuck, pal. We need help.
Beautiful.
Is there a mechanic in the house?
The Nightmare Return. Alice Cooper. Saturday, November 1st, Toledo Sports Arena. FM 104 welcomes the legendary Alice Cooper. Now see him live. He's back. Tickets at the Sports Arena and all usual outlets. Saturday, November 1st. Don't miss Alice Cooper.
football season winding down and basketball waiting in the wings, many athletes are finding it difficult to keep up with the sports.
Schools around the nation are cracking down on athletes and their academic performances. This year, the Toledo Public School System adopted the concept. Athletes are now required to pass at least 5 of their classes to play in the game.
Our reporter, Tricia Hardy, will tell you about the new academic standards where, if you don't pass, you don't play.
Recently, Toledo Public Schools adopted a new measure which affects high school eligibility for sports. To learn why this rule was passed, we talked with Mr. Crystal Ellis, Deputy Superintendent of Toledo Public Schools.
One of the things that we're concerned about is that our students leaving Toledo Public Schools can go on to college and be academically eligible and compete athletic-wise, academic-wise with any students in the country.
We know how the school administrators view the rule, but how do the players feel? We found that most athletes like the idea behind the new resolution.
How do you feel about the new eligibility requirements?
Well, I think it's a pretty good idea because if you're not doing your homework and getting your grades, then you must not have enough time to play football.
So are you saying that the present football students aren't doing their homework?
Well, I'm not saying they're not doing them, but I think that those who aren't either should do them or shouldn't play.
So you think it's a good idea?
Yes.
How do you feel?
I think it's a real good idea for college. It'll help you out for college, passing 5 classes, and make you more into your homework and stuff.
Even though I am a senior, you know, I wish this rule would have been around because I'm not doing as well as I should have been doing. This might hurt me when I go to college.
So you think it would have encouraged you to keep your grades up if it had been around sooner?
Oh, yeah.
We've heard from school administrators and athletes, and to get a coach's viewpoint, we spoke with Start High School's head football coach.
Absolutely. I think, you know, the competition isn't just on the field, it's in the classroom, as I had mentioned, and they have to perform their students first and their athletes second.
Many people think the new rule will greatly reduce the number of students participating in athletics. But Coach Niederhauser believes the rule will affect only those student athletes who are not willing to try in school or on the field.
It'll pose only a threat maybe to the person who doesn't want to be a student, who wastes his time in school and so forth. It's not going to pose the threat to the student who wants to be a good athlete and the good athlete who wants to be a student.
Students, coaches, and administrators all agree that the new resolution will play an important part in the future of high school athletics. For STN, this is Trish Hardy reporting.
Have you ever watched a parade or a halftime ceremony at a football game and wonder what it's like to be part of a marching band? Being a member of such a large organization must be pretty exciting and scary, especially when you perform in front of hundreds of people at a football game.
To get the scoop on what goes on both before and during the games, our STN crew, along with reporter Sherry Streeter, went behind the scenes at Rogers High School to learn what it takes to be part of the Rogers Rams Marching Band.
When you see a marching band performing, you may think, that's easy. But what is it really like to be in a marching band? A lot goes into making a marching band successful. Lots of student involvement, the band director's time, and money. We asked Rogers band director, Mr. Haddett, to give us an example of what it's like to march and play at the same time.
The nearest analogy I can come up with is something like if you were in English class, saying a poem out loud and thinking about an algebra problem at the same time. They're two totally different processes.
The formations that marching bands make are usually created, charted, and graphed by the director.
Charting is the actual setting down on paper of where the band members go while they're marching. It's a complicated process where one formation leads into another. I do all the charting. It's dictated mainly by the music. The music gets louder, the band gets closer to the audience. If it gets softer, they start to move away. There's many things you can do with the charting to make it enhance the band show itself.
We asked Christy Pearson what she enjoys most about working with the band.
You get to meet a lot of different people, and they're not just all freshmen. You get to meet seniors, and it's really fun because when you walk down the hall, then you get to say hi to older people, and you don't feel so little.
Making friends is a big part of being a band member.
Well, for me it is, and I think for most people in a band it is, because band is pretty much a group activity, and people in a band have to be able to enjoy being with others.
A marching band member puts in a lot of time preparing for performances.
To get it down so we can do it well enough on the field without being lost, we go to summer band camp, and that's how we kind of learn it. And then we come back, and in the fall we go through it once a week after school, and then every day during our hour of school outside, and we run through it.
It's almost halftime, and this marching band is about to perform. But what we want to know is what it takes to make a halftime performance successful.
Being able to put your music and your marching together as one. It's Saturday, and are you wondering what you're going to do tonight? Now that school is well underway, many of you are looking forward to upcoming dances, plays, and concerts.
We know that it's impossible to tell you everything that's happening over the next month, just as it's impossible for you to do it all. But to give you a clue of some of the many fall activities coming up, our crew of STN researchers have put together a calendar of exciting fall events happening during October and November.
Coming up next on STN, our reporter Beth Treadaway takes us behind the scenes at the Toledo Zoo to find out how high school students learn to care for the animals while making plans for future careers.
And we'll show you a yearly tradition for 6th graders as area elementary schools take time to travel down to Bellefontaine, Ohio to learn all they can about campfires, friendships, and nature.
We'll have these stories and more as STN continues right after these messages.
For a limited time only, at Crown TV and Appliance, $19.95 a week can surround you with a lot of entertainment. For starters, take this 19-inch remote control portable color TV. Great picture, huh? But that's not all. You also get this terrific 50-watt remote control stereo system. But you better hurry. At only $19.95 a week, it won't stay quiet long. It's another Crown Crowd Pleaser special from Crown TV and Appliance. The easy way to own. Call the store nearest you.
Image Expo. It's not just a fashion show, it's a day-long expo, an exhibit especially for women and men of all ages. It's going on Sunday from 11 to 7.
You'll see over 35 exhibitors representing Toledo's best in every area of your life. Meet experts on fitness, health, fashion, and real estate.
Discounts on many wonderful products, fashion shows, and aerobic demonstrations all day.
Admission is only $2 per person, which registers you for many free gifts. Remember the times, 11 to 7, Sunday only at Masonic Auditorium's Great Hall.
Carving your own Halloween pumpkin can be a lot of fun for grown-ups.
Hey kids, isn't this fun?
But with a pumpkin cutter, children of all ages can easily design and carve their own Halloween pumpkins in complete safety. The pumpkin cutter is simple and safe to use. There are no sharp edges, yet it quickly cuts through all pumpkins smoothly. Any child can learn to use the pumpkin cutter the very first time. Make this Halloween extra special with the pumpkin cutter.
Available at Lane, Gray Drug, Revco, Anderson's, Food Town, Cash and Carry, and Center Supermarkets.
Dear Grandma, I have some new friends. One is a frog, one is a pig, and one is a robot. Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy come home. At 7:30, Vicky the robot visits me and Small Wonder. They are all lots of fun. You can meet my friends when I visit you this weekend, Grandma.
Come home to the Muppets at 7 and Small Wonder at 7:30, Saturday evenings on TV 13.
Welcome back to the second half of STN. Coming up, we'll show you how Toledo area high school students learn about plans for future careers.
And we'll show you silver memories from Bowser and Start High Schools. They're both celebrating 25-year anniversaries.
But now we'll tell you about a trip our STN crew took with area 6th graders from Arlington and Gunkel Elementary Schools to spend an educational and fun-filled week at Camp Wilson in Bellefontaine, Ohio. It's been a tradition for Toledo Public School students to pack up their gear and anxiously await the bus ride down to camp. Sitting around campfires, singing songs, and swapping ghost stories were among the fun things the students took part in.
For many students, it was their first time away from home, but with the friendly counselors and their newly made friends, they'll find it hard to leave.
Education is not only an in-school process, but an out-of-school learning experience as well. Here at Camp Wilson, Toledo 6th graders have a chance to learn about nature and for the most part are given a chance to be away from their parents for the first time.
Last night we had 2 or 3 kids very homesick, very worried
For some,
about
being away from their parents is not as hard as was expected. It is a taste of independence that is new to many of these 6th graders. However, they seem to be enjoying their newfound freedom with very few regrets. Well, how do you feel about being away from your family for the whole week?
It's not that bad, but I kind of miss them.
Would you like to tell me what your favorite activity at Camp Wilson is?
My favorite activity is reptiles and amphibians.
Why?
Because I like snakes.
What do you enjoy most about Camp Wilson?
The most thing I enjoy about Camp Wilson is the kids. They get so excited about just being able to see different things that are outside and just being able to let them know that school can be fun and not just, sitting in a classroom in a building.
Could you tell me what's taught at Camp Wilson?
Okay, as far as the different types of classes and that sort of thing with Camp Wilson, we do everything from horseback riding to horse sense to an aquatic life class to survival skills to reptiles and amphibians and the wild mammals, all different types of things that 6th grade kids really enjoy.
Of course, one of the important things of the day is lunch. A time to eat, rest, and have a little fun before going back to another activity.
Today it's been raining on and off all day long, so we've had to adjust a little bit, but for the most part, most of the classes are adaptable either inside or outside.
As you can see, these kids are learning a lot in their week away from school. Things that could not be taught as well or maybe as fun if they were being taught at school. The kids, however, don't see this as work or as learning, just as fun, and that's the way it should be. This is Carrie Lipton reporting for STN.
For many high school students, deciding on a career can be a difficult task. But for those students planning on careers involving animals, such as veterinary medicine and animal training, the Animal Care Vocational Program may be just the answer.
This program offered to high school juniors and seniors take place at the Toledo Zoo, where students get a chance to work hands-on with the animals. Our reporter, Beth Turley, tells us more.
Everyone knows how much fun it is to visit the zoo, but what's it like to actually go to school at the zoo?
Find out, we talked with Brian, a senior of the Animal Care School at the Toledo Zoo, to learn what he likes best about this unique program.
I like working with the people and the animals, especially working in the children's zoo. I got to do that this summer. That was real nice, because you get to work with both people and animals, and it's really neat.
Hey, geese. Hey, geese.
Come here. Geese only like one person.
The mama goose?
No, we've got a foreman who works out here. She can just walk right up and talk to them, and they'll come running.
Students at the zoo not only have a good time, but they also get hands-on training while they learn about everything from business management to the medications for the animals.
Both juniors and seniors, they do work on the grounds in the various houses with the keepers under their supervision, under the supervision of the curators. But during the summer, a number of them are employed in the children's zoo.
Well, we get hands-on training during school with working in the different areas around the zoo, and we work with small animals in the classroom.
So what was it about the program when you heard about it that attracted you to it and made you want to come to the zoo?
Well, I do want to become a vet, and my counselors and stuff said that it would be a good experience.
How many years will you have to study to become a vet?
About 4 years. Sometimes it might take longer. It depends on really what field you're going into, because there's all kinds of fields you can get into.
What kind of things do you have to do here at the zoo that you really would rather not do? Some of the unpleasant jobs?
Picking up after the animals. Oh boy, that's got to be the most terriblest job. But I don't know, it's okay. There's not really anything that I really regret doing.
We know how the zoo helps the students, but how do the students benefit the zoo?
Well, it always helps to have new people, new ideas. It keeps you fresh. It keeps you on your toes. It lets you know that there are other people interested in the zoo and that there are other people coming along that'll help perpetuate zoos.
The Animal Care Program at the Toledo Zoo is just one of the many vocational training programs offered by the Toledo Public School System that gives students a head start into the career of their choice. Reporting for STN, I'm Beth Treadaway.
Coming up next on STN, we'll try to help you pull those grades out of the slump, which many students are starting to fall into, and we'll show you how to keep them at the top. Our crew of STN researchers found a few hints which might come in handy when studying.
And if you have some ideas about stories you would like to see us cover on our future shows, we'd like to hear from you. Grab a pencil and paper, and in a few minutes, we'll tell you where to send those ideas. We'll be right back after these messages.
TV 13 and K100 present Coats for Kids Night at the Ice Capades on Wednesday, November 12th at 7:30 at the Toledo Sports Arena.
One adventure will come on home. Pure excitement, we're action-packed and coming at you. Grab a hold of it, come on home. Have a ball, 'cause there's no place like home. Home is where you feel at ease. You feel at ease. Filled with special memories. Yeah. Movies, sports, and comedies. Home on NBC. Come home, come on home. America, from sea to shining sea. Come on, come on home. America, come home to NBC. All the news is there, all the world to share, all the pageantry, make a memory where the action is, where the laughter is, where the sheer delight that you're after is. Special comedy, films you got to see. Let's all be there on NBC. Come on home, America, from sea to shining sea. Come on home, America, come home to NBC. Come on home, America, that's home where you should be. Come on home, America, come home to NBC. Come on home, there's no place like home, no. Come on home, hey, come home, yeah, there's no place like home. Come on home, come home to NBC. NBC, come on home, NBC, come on home.
Welcome back to STN. Knowing how to study can mean the difference between an A and an F, whether you're in grade school, junior high, high school, or college. Study habits are a very important part of learning.
With school nearing the close of the first quarter, many students are finding that their grades are falling into an educational slump. And with all the activities going on after school, they're finding it difficult to bring them back up.
The best way to bring up those grades is to study. And to help you do just that, our crew of researchers have made a list of study tips you should surely take notes on.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Roberts. We here at STN have thought up some helpful study tips to help you with your daily routine of homework and tests. And chances are these tips will help make homework and tests a lot easier. Organization is one of the most important study habits in getting your homework done. Being disorganized can lead to complications like not finding your assignments when you want them.
Yeah, I have that homework assignment right here. Where is that assignment?
Budgeting your time gives you time to study and extra time to have fun as well.
Hello? Party? Nah, I just got started on my homework. It's only 4 o'clock. Yeah, I'll probably be done around 6. I'll give you a call then. Okay, bye.
The last tip is about doing your own work. It is important to do your own work. You gain so much out of it.
You want the answers to the geometry homework? No way, do your own work.
There are many tips to help you improve your study habits, but we feel these 3 are the most important. Remember, keeping your assignments organized helps you to find them when they are needed. Budgeted time gives you time for studying and for fun as well. You can benefit more from doing your own work.
I hope you have learned something that will be of use to you in your studying.
We hope you have enjoyed our first show of the season. We also hope you will join us in December when STN returns at 1:30 p.m. on December 6th.
If you know someone who has done something spectacular or a school that has a special event coming up, send us your written story ideas to the Student Television Network in care of WTVG, TV 13, 4247 Dorr Street, Toledo, Ohio, 43607. We'd like to hear from you.
Now to close today's show, our photographer, Robin Johnston, has put together a video yearbook to celebrate the silver anniversaries of Bowser and Start High Schools. Thanks for joining us. See you in December.
They were expecting to get out of slavery itself. Now, if you manage to do that, you've overcome.
Is there a clear-cut path to understanding the struggle of black Americans in the heartland? Have we traveled all the roads leading to freedom and equality? Did we take any shortcuts at the branches of employment, education, or housing? Toledo 11 News' Faith Murphy steps back in time to
Cartoon Adventures.
Ronald McDonald and Friends in the Hamburglar Touch.
Bravo cheeseburgers.
Bet Hamburglar wishes everything he touches would turn to McDonald's cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers. Touch. Cheeseburger. Oh. Touch. Rob a big cheeseburger.
Don't touch Grimace.
Ah, phooey. Oh. Touch my face. Rob.
It's a good time for the great taste. You haven't touched your cheeseburger.
IQ scores cause big ego problems on the next Facts of Life.
afternoon and welcome to the third edition of STN, the Student Television Network. I'm Karen Bajo, a senior at Bowser High School.
Hello, I'm Charles Jones, a sophomore from Bowser High School.
And I'm Laura Delaplane, a junior from Libby High School. Karen, Charles, and I are your hosts today for STN.
How good are you at trivia questions? Our STN crew met a group of area high school students who are not only good at trivia, but use their knowledge to compete against each other. There are many important people in the city of Toledo, and STN members had a chance to meet an especially interesting Toledoan. She is such a wonderful lady that we like to call her Toledo's treasure. Later in the show, you'll get a chance to meet her.
Most people have heard of foreign exchange students, but have you ever heard of a foreign exchange teacher? One local high school recently hosted a foreign exchange teacher from the Soviet Union. It was a great honor since only 6 Soviet teachers came to American schools last year. In today's show, you'll have a chance to meet this special teacher and see how her visit to Toledo went.
Most school subjects such as math and English are basically the same as they were several years ago. But today we'll take a look at one subject that has changed a great deal over the past few years. Do you know what the initials SETT stand for? Well, I'll give you a clue. It has to do with a group of teenagers who are trying to make a difference. Later, we'll go behind the scenes to find out more about it. These stories and much more are coming up today on STN, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Gardeners, if you love fresh-tasting vegetables and big, beautiful flowers, but think results like this take too much time and too much back-breaking work, here's great news. Introducing the affordable Troy-Bilt Junior, designed especially for smaller gardens. Just look at the time and work the Junior will save you. It's so easy to prepare perfect, ready-to-plant seed beds. Plus, working organic matter into your soil is a snap. Spot-till areas for beautiful flower gardens and borders. Why, you can even use the Junior to reseed your lawn or ring fruit trees. You'll be amazed at how much time and work the Junior will save you. So if you want to learn more about getting results like this, the fast, easy Troy-Bilt way, call now to receive your free Troy-Bilt catalog.
For your free catalog featuring the Junior and our whole line of Troy-Bilt tillers, including our no-money-down easy payment plan, call toll-free 1-800-453-3800. Operators are standing by. That's 1-800-453-3800. Call now.
Most of the products you buy come with ingredient lists. Too bad tap water isn't one of them. You might learn some very interesting things. And you just might choose a better brand. Culligan Drinking Water Systems. The best reason yet to say, hey, Culligan man.
If you're concerned about the water you drink, call your local Culligan man. He'll be happy to analyze your water. Call Culligan today.
Welcome back to STN. Local teenagers studying Russian learned this language in a new way recently. DeVilbiss High School was one of 6 schools across the country which hosted a teacher from the Soviet Union for 3 months at the end of last year. Several STN students, including reporter Bonnie Duritsky, were fortunate to have this special teacher.
Tatiana Nikolaevna Papina arrived in Toledo October 8th and returned to her home in Moscow December 5th. You'll notice that she speaks English very well. That's because she studied English for 5 years and has recently been teaching English to Soviet students. But at DeVilbiss, she had a chance to teach Russian, her native tongue.
They're very lively, they're very interesting, and I like American students. But I wish some of the students were more involved in the process of learning, because some of them don't seem to be very much interested in this process. And I think that they're going to be sorry for this later in their life, and so I wish they could realize this earlier. But in fact, American students are very much the same as the Soviet students, and they have very much in common. Their interests and their wishes and desires are very much the same.
Tatiana Nikolaevna Papina, the new teacher at DeVilbiss High School, learned this almost immediately about her new students. For 2 years, people at DeVilbiss have been trying to acquire a teacher from the Soviet Union. through the American Field Service.
The American Field Service is an organization that works to bring exchange students and exchange teachers. We've had exchange students before at DeVilbiss. That last year we had a young man from New Zealand. But this is the first time we've had an exchange teacher. It took us over 2 years to get an exchange teacher from the Soviet Union.
Since her arrival on October 8th, Tatiana has changed many opinions on life in the Soviet Union and made many people realize that Soviets and Americans aren't very different. Tatiana has been working primarily with Russian language students in DeVilbiss Chinese-Russian Center. The pupils were extremely nervous in the beginning.
At first they were very apprehensive because she was a native speaker and she spoke faster than I do in the classroom, and that was very difficult for them to adjust to at first. But that's what makes it such a great experience for the kids, the fact that they were exposed to a native speaker.
According to Mrs. Walters, though, the students adapted very easily. Some even found it difficult to switch back to their regular teacher after Tatiana left. Although teaching techniques, according to Tatiana, are very similar in the two countries, there are some differences in educational systems.
Well, the main difference is that we teach all subjects and students don't choose among them. The younger students, the students of the first, second, and third grade, start their school day at 8:30, and the day is over at 12:20. The juniors the classes for the juniors finish at 1:15, and the classes for seniors are over at 2:10.
Extracurricular activities are also different.
We have the club which is called Olympia, and it organizes all sports activities in school and outside school. We have the International Friendship Club, which carries on all international work and keeps corresponding with students from different countries and organizes exchanges with foreign students and things like this. So all kinds of activities.
Of course, Russian is a difficult language to learn. But can you imagine learning English when you're just 7 years old? For STN, I'm Bonnie Duritsky. До свидания.
Learning a foreign language is indeed difficult, Charles, but I have a trivia question for you that's almost as hard. Who invented the ballpoint pen, and when did he do it?
It was John Loud in the 1880s.
That's right. How did you know?
Because Lori told me.
If you like trivia games which ask questions like that one, you'll probably be interested in our next story. We went behind the scenes to learn more about one of the more unusual high school extracurricular activities. High School Quiz and Quiz Bowl involves students who enjoy trivia as well as working hard and having fun. Beth Corey, our STN reporter, will tell you more.
Today is the big day for these high school competitors. Teams from high schools in and around Toledo have gathered here at TV13 for the ultimate intellectual battle, High School Quiz. But what is High School Quiz, and how do its participants prepare for this so-called meeting of the minds? Well, it's actually two meetings. High School Quiz has a counterpart, Quiz Bowl, which is a league with schools from Toledo and surrounding areas, but both leagues compete in much the same way. Two teams try to answer questions, from physics to rock and roll. We went to Sylvania Northview and asked Quiz Bowl advisor Karen Stacy to explain how they prepare for a match.
For a City League match, we usually spend about 3 hours. 2 hours in practice such as this, and usually about an hour in question preparation. Because each team is responsible for bringing in a certain amount of questions to each match for the other schools to use as they play. So about 3 hours a week for the City League. What actually goes on during practice? The actual play is a game simulation where we split up into teams and have one of the students be host. I usually keep score, just keeping tabs on who's up on the current events and who's up on whatever, so that when we go to the next match, I know who to play in certain positions.
High School Quiz, however, is a television league that was started over 20 years ago by TV13. We asked moderator Frank Venner what he thinks the players get out of High School Quiz.
I think it instills in them a sense of responsibility,
They know they have to study and practice in order to do well.
And students have also enjoyed being part of High School Quiz. We asked a few students what they like about High School Quiz and Quiz Bowl.
I enjoy trivia, which is a lot about that. And also, it tests your knowledge, and you can see what all you've learned in your 4 years of high school.
What is the best part about Quiz Bowl?
I think my favorite part about it is it's a challenge to answer a totally spontaneous question when you have no idea what you're going to be asked, and it could be on any subject, and it tests what you know about everything in general.
We're already aware of the High School Quiz Bowl program. I hope our story has stimulated your curiosity. Unlike other competitive sports, Quiz Bowl involves brain instead of brawn. And though many people only concern themselves with the final score, the hard work and effort of many people can make the experience both educational and enjoyable for all. For STN, I'm Beth Corey.
We just had a look at some students who have tried to come up with the answers to a lot of difficult questions. We wondered if they would answer the question in our next piece correctly. Reporter Todd Myers went to a local mall and asked shoppers, what is a sesquicentennial?
Whew, you got me. That new burger they got down there.
What is the sesquicentennial?
A sesquicentennial. Hey, you know, just the other day somebody asked me about that. That's got something to do with Bigfoot.
100 years. That's what it is.
No, it isn't. It got something to do with Bigfoot.
No, it
about
isn't.
200 years ago. Remember Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Kenny?
What was that?
You're wrong.
Sesquicentennial.
That's the Sasquatch-centennial. Bigfoot was born 100 years ago. That was
But it has to do with 100 years, right?
Centennial. Hey, trust me, Tracy.
Okay.
What is it? I never even heard of it.
That's the 150th anniversary of something. Could be anything. I've been to one in 1926 over in Philadelphia.
An Indian tribe.
Our 150th anniversary of Toledo.
A music place. And you go over there for concerts.
What is the sesquicentennial?
The what?
Well, the
You got me, pal.
It's the 150th anniversary of the city of Toledo. Because I work for the recreation department for the city of Toledo.
What is the sesquicentennial?
Not only is it the anniversary of Toledo, but it's the year that Michigan's going to take the worst beating they've ever had in Ann Arbor by Ohio State. And subsequently, when Ohio State goes out to the Rose Bowl next January 1st, beat the pants off of UCLA. Go Bucks.
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea.
Animals?
If we came up to you and asked you what the sesquicentennial is, would you know? The sesquicentennial is the 150th anniversary of Toledo being celebrated throughout this year. I'm Todd Myers reporting for STN.
All of us here at STN would like to take this opportunity to say happy birthday, Toledo. There will be a lot of such special events to celebrate Toledo's 150th anniversary, and you can find out more information about these upcoming events by watching WTVG Channel 13.
There's a lot more coming up in our next segment, and including a story about a school subject that has changed so much that you might not even recognize it. And we'll meet a group of teenagers who are working hard and making a difference. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Be there.
Be there.
Be there.
Be there. That's the theme of the greatest men's clothing sale in the world, and it's now in progress at Door & Secor in Toledo. That's right, it's Diamond's $1 Million Winter Warehouse Sale. Suits by Christian Dior and Perry Ellis. Shoes by French Schreiner. Save up to 75%. From suits to shoes, ties to socks, it's Diamond's biggest warehouse sale ever. Diamond's $1 Million Winter Warehouse Sale at Door & Secor. Be there.
Say so long to tough chicken. And say hello to tender, juicy chicken at a great price. Come into Kentucky Fried Chicken right now for 9 pieces of original recipe chicken plus 4 fresh buttermilk biscuits, just $6.49. It's our bargain bucket. So why settle for some tough bird when you can save on chicken that's tender and juicy? Kentucky Fried Chicken's bargain bucket, just $6.49.
Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
The girls compare IQ scores.
I know who the smartest girl in the school is. Well, it couldn't be me. I've got too many other things going for me. You're right, Blair. It's not you either. And now, you and me have the same IQ score. I knew we were soul sisters.
Next time on the Facts of Life. Come home to Facts of Life, Monday at 5.
Welcome back to STN, the Student Television Network. There's a lot more to come in today's show. Most students take a lot of math, science, and English classes. These subjects are basically remain the same throughout the years, but today's world is constantly changing and becoming more complex.
There aren't many classes that teach students how to get along in everyday life, but there is one particular subject, home economics, that's kept up with the times. It's changed so much, in fact, that you probably wouldn't realize all the different areas that are taught in this class. It's not just a cooking and sewing class anymore. Here's Rodney Gordon, our STN reporter, to tell you more.
Home economics have changed over the past few years. To find out why, we asked Mrs. Williams of Rogers High School Home Ec Department and several Rogers High School students.
Over the years, it's changed quite a bit. It was a rural type of subject which was done in many county high schools. They taught a lot of sewing and a lot of foods. Now we have it in every high school in the nation. It's much more involved with consumer economics, care of children, money, how to take care of yourself when you get on to college, and eating right.
Cooking is one of the projects the students enjoy doing. What can you cook?
What can I cook? Now I can cook. I know how to make a pie, cookies, and omelets.
What other projects do you do?
We made collages of ourselves, help ourselves find out who we are and what we like to do.
Not only has the program itself changed, but there are also more men getting into home ec.
Well, they begin to realize they're going to have their own apartments, they're going to take care of their families, they love to eat, they like to look well, and so they seem to find that whether they're going to be in service or living on their own or married, they also need it. They're more serious sometimes than many of the girls are.
Home ec teaches you many other things you need to know when you are on your own.
It teaches you a lot of things, how to improve yourself and make yourself look better in front of people, and how to do things, ordinary things, you know, at home and stuff.
Today, there are many job possibilities in the field of home economics.
Well, we try to tell the students about any job they'd want to go and look at. Home economics would enhance that job possibility.
Mrs. Williams has seen how home economics has improved the quality of life for many of her students and feels that in the future, home ec should become a requirement.
I really feel that every student should be exposed at the high school level to home economics. They should be required to take at least one full year. There are so many areas where it can help them in their own lives.
When we visited Rogers High School, we learned that their home economic classes were filled to capacity and class sizes were growing every year. Home economics is very important because it prepares the students for the future. Reporting for STN, I'm Rodney Gordon.
Home economics teaches students about life, but in our next story, we'll take a look at some teenagers who are doing the teaching. These teenagers teach other students about life in general and the problems that teenagers face in particular. STN members found out that SETT stands for Self-Expression Teen Theater.
This group has an interesting approach in trying to deal with teenagers' problems. They use the theater to show the problems and offer possible solutions. They write their own plays and perform them in the local area. This innovative group was started in August 1986. STN reporter Cynthia Schaefer went behind the scenes to tell you more.
It gives me, I suppose, a good feeling because I feel like I'm getting a message across to the people.
I wanted to get involved to help other teenagers and for exposure because I really like to act.
I feel great. I like putting plays together and putting my own ideas into the plays.
Self-Expression Teen Theater is comprised of 21 students from area high schools who are eager to make fellow teens aware of many teenage problems. They do this by performing skits dealing with teenage problems.
Richie! Oh, Richie, please!
You drink, you drive, you die.
Self-Expression Teen Theater is an educational approach to dealing with the practical and functional problems of our youth today.
Do you think you're making a difference?
I think we are. I think not only myself, but the rest of the group, I think we are, because we're working together and we're saying what we really feel.
It is a way of communication by which we may strengthen parent-teen communication, family communication, and communications between young people to young people where they become their own peer educators.
At the end of each performance, Set discusses their skits and the problems with the audience. We asked one member how they got their information to answer people's questions and what they do on Saturdays.
On Saturdays, we have different doctors come in and talk about different diseases and saying no to sex and drugs.
Kind of feelings you get when you do your performances?
At first I'm scared, but after I get to, get used to everybody looking at me, I kind of calm down a little bit.
Do you think it's helping the people who watch it, teenagers?
I think it is, because after every performance we have a discussion.
When they ask questions, how do you answer them?
We answer them by saying what we know from our knowledge and from the knowledge that the doctors give us.
It's coming from our heart, therefore people are listening and relating with it better.
The Self-Expression Teen Theater is one of the many programs promoting drug-free lives for teenagers. However, it's different in that it deals with many problems teenagers face today. It's easy to see that these students care about the direction our society is moving in. With their help creating these effective plays, there's hope for teenagers today. Reporting for STN, I'm Cynthia Schaefer.
The teenagers involved with Self-Expression Teen Theater really care about our community. They perform their plays at local churches and schools.
Coming up, we'll get a chance to meet someone else who cares about the Toledo community. In fact, Ella P. Stewart has added so much to this area that the city of Toledo honored her with Ella P. Stewart Day, which was on February 29, 1984. In our next segment, you'll get a chance to see what makes this lady so special.
Also in our next segment, we'll have a tribute to Black History Month. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new Diamond alternative is here. ICE, the official jewelry of the new motion picture Blood Circus. Would you help us test the new Diamond alternative? Each has the size and look of a half-carat diamond, and all 5 pieces are only $19.95. Plus, would you accept the new ICE catalog with your already approved credit limit of $500, all with a 60-day unconditional money-back guarantee? Each imported stone has its own papers, and if anyone can tell the difference of ICE from a real diamond, your money is refunded, and you still keep the $500 credit limit and catalog free. ICE, the new Diamond alternative, is here. Plus, call right now and receive 2 additional pieces free. Plus, this gorgeous chain and bracelet. That's 9 pieces in all. ICE is nice, and CODs are accepted in this test offer. Everything's shown only $19.95.
Call now, 1-800-331-6161. Be sure to ask our operators for the ICE offer. That's 1-800-331-6161.
One thing that makes the city great is the people who live in it and contribute to it. STN found one of these people, and we like to call her Toledo's treasure.
Mrs. Ella P. Stewart has always been faithful to the Toledo community and has worked with several community groups such as the League of Women Voters, the Toledo Museum of Art, and Red Cross, to name a few. She has also worked hard to better America and the world as a whole. One example of this effort is her work as Goodwill Ambassador for the U.S. State Department. STN reporter Christy Gregory will tell you more about this incredible lady.
You may not know very many people who dedicate their lives to helping others, but we here at STN found a woman who did just that. Mrs. Ella P. Stewart spent the majority of her life helping others. We are honored that Ms. Stewart gave us the time to answer a few questions. In 1961, a Toledo elementary school was named after Ms. Stewart, and no award could be more special.
I suppose this is not the most outstanding thing because it's here in modern brick, and it'll be here for some years, and that young people probably will enjoy it.
Both Mrs. Stewart and her husband, William, were pharmacists and we were curious to find out where she received her training to begin her career.
I was the first Negro woman to enter the University of Pittsburgh. I insisted that if they had a place for anybody else, they had a place for me. So I kept persisting, and when the dean, the president of the school, came back, Dean Koch from Germany, I went to see him, and he says, well, I was just wondering how you would fit in with the other people. I said, I fit in with people every place. I think that more women should take up pharmacy. Of course, now pharmacy is nothing like the pharmacy that when it was when I went to school, because you did everything from the very beginning.
Of course, Mrs. Stewart is proud of all her awards, but her family remains her most prized accomplishment.
Of all the accomplishments, I think, is being a mother and a wife, having a home, being a housewife, and having a wonderful husband.
Mrs. Stewart doesn't have any children of her own now, but she considers the children of Stewart Elementary her own.
My children? My children.
Ella P. Stewart has shown us examples of spirit, drive, and perseverance. She is an inspiration to all of us. She's shown love and dedication throughout her life. For STN, I'm Christy Gregory.
We hope you have enjoyed this edition of STN, and we hope that you will tune into our 4th edition airing on March 14th at 1 o'clock on WTVG Channel 13.
You might not know that February is Black History Month and has been honored for quite some time now by all fellow Americans. We here at STN would like to make our contribution.
Mark Johnson from Libby High School, one of our STN members, has put together a special credit piece in honor of Black History Month. It features some works of local artists.
See you in March.
B&J Video Systems presents another new innovation from Panasonic, the ProLine VHS HQ video camera. It's complete with built-in recorder. It weighs less than 6.5 pounds. It's battery-operated, features CCD image sensors, a 4-head helical scanning record system, power zoom lens with automatic focus, continuous white balance, and macro function. It's the camera the pros are using, and it's available to you now from Panasonic and B&J Video Systems at prices you'd expect from a discount store. See it soon at B&J Video Systems.
TV 13 wishes you a happy Hanukkah.
Doug Thompson, Danbury. David Adich, Danbury.
Sue Ropp, Danbury.
Steve Lice, Danbury.
Selena Perryman, Libby.
Chris Guth, Libby.
Michael Fairchild, Libby.
Neil Newcomb, Libby.
Welcome to this week's edition of High School Quiz with your host, Frank Venner.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 15th game in the current series on High School Quiz. Today it'll be a first-round battle between Danbury High School and Libby High School. And the rules are simple. We pay off a knowledge and quick response. Each of our players has a buzzer which activates a light. If they push the buzzer and give us a correct answer, the team will earn 20 points. If we get an incorrect response, the same question will be addressed to the opposing team. That team has an opportunity to pick up 10 points for a correct answer. We'll be playing 2 periods. The decision of our judges will be final. And for today's game, the judges are from Sylvania Southview High School, Gail Forsee, and from DeVilbiss High School, Dennis Dreer. So stand by. We hope you'll play along with us, and we'll have that first question coming right up after this.
Make any room come alive.
Well, let's kick off today's game with this question. It is worth 20 points. It occurred at 5:25 in the morning on July 16, 1945 in the Alamogordo Desert in New Mexico, and it was dubbed Trinity. For 20 points, what occurred? This is Michael Fairchild.
The first atomic bomb tested.
That's pretty good. That's worth 20 points, and that's 20 points on the scoreboard for Libby. Publishers in both Britain and the United States originally refused to touch it because Stalin, then a wartime ally, wouldn't like it. For 20 points, name this lengthy political fable by George Orwell. This is Sue Ropp.
1984?
I beg your pardon?
1984?
No, it isn't 1984. Free 10-point guess now for Libby. Michael?
Animal Farm?
It's Animal Farm, and that's worth 10 points for Libby. On the average, a day consists of 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness. Such an average day occurs only twice a year, at the beginning of spring and at the beginning of fall. What are these days called? This is Michael again.
Solstices?
Please?
Solstices?
No, that's not a correct answer. Free 10-point guess now for Danbury. What are they called? Okay, Doug?
Equinox?
Yes, they're called equinoxes, and that's 10 points on the scoreboard for Danbury. Now, this is a 2-part question. Keep that in mind. Before Peter Stuyvesant became governor of New Amsterdam, the last of the Dutch rulers of present-day New York, he was colonial governor of Curacao. Now, here are your 2 questions. Number 1, spell Stuyvesant, and number 2, spell Curacao. Now, think that over for 15 seconds, and we need both answers. Ten seconds. 5 seconds. And the time is up. Well, Stuyvesant is S-T-U-Y-V-E-S-A-N-T, and Curacao is C-U-R-A-C-A-O, and we don't have any points. The only president placed on trial during his administration, he was impeached by the House, tried and found not guilty. This is Doug Thompson.
Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Johnson, that's correct. 20 points, Danbury. Compositions, arrangements, symphonies, and nocturnes are usually associated with the world of music. But for 20 points, which 19th, 20th century American artist paintings include compositions, arrangements, symphonies, and nocturnes? Who's the artist? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. No time left. James Whistler is the answer. Whistler. When France adopted the Gregorian calendar in 1564, New Year's Day moved to January 1. For several years thereafter, pranksters would pay mock New Year's Day visits on the old date, thereby establishing a new tradition. What is this day or date? 10 seconds. Chris?
April 1st.
That's correct. It's April Fool's Day, and you have 20 points for Libby. Now, a 2-part question now. We need both answers. Quote, "My God, it's full of stars," end quote. For For 20 points, what popular movie and its sequel each feature that same mysterious line? Michael?
The first one is 2001 and the second one is 2010.
That's correct. You've got it. That's 20 points, Libby. Fort Massachusetts seems misplaced there, as do the cities of Louisville, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Raleigh, and Corinth. More appropriate are the cities of Stonewall, Magnolia, Faulkner, and Tupelo. What state am I talking about, Selena?
Mississippi?
You've got it. 20 points. Mississippi is the correct answer. It makes regular transatlantic crossings during the warm months and one round-world cruise every year. And it was called into military service for the Falklands War. Since the Queen Elizabeth and Queen Mary are retired, it's the only transatlantic cruise ship left. What is the name of this ship? 10 seconds. This is Surap.
The Queen Elizabeth II.
You have it. QE2 or Queen Elizabeth II, 20 points for Danbury. This is a two-part question. We need both correct answers. There are some 4 million Palestinians scattered around the world today. For 20 points, which two Middle Eastern nations are home to the most of them? Which two? 10 seconds. Surap.
Lebanon and Israel.
No, not Lebanon and Israel. A free 10-point guess now for Libby. Michael?
Lebanon and Jordan.
Lebanon and Jordan. No, it's Jordan and Israel, as a matter of fact. So you each had one, but we needed both answers. No points. Now, this time I'm going to give you clues to a famous actress, and anytime you think you know the answer, just buzz the buzzer and interrupt. Now, here are the clues. She was born Sarah Jane Fulks, that's F-U-L-K-S, in 1914, but first changed her name to Jane Durrell when she broke into show business as a singer. Her daughter, Maureen Reagan, is now much seen on television. She stars as Angela Channing on Sue.
Jane Wyman.
Jane Wyman, that's correct. 20 points, Danbury. Exiled by Stalin, he fled to Mexico and was murdered there in 1940. For 20 points, who was this Russian revolutionary and founder of the Red Army? 10 seconds. Michael?
Leon Trotsky.
Leon Trotsky, correct. 20 points for Libby. It's billed as both the longest and most famous street in the world, extending 150 miles from Albany, New York, to near the southern tip of Manhattan, passing through the leading commercial, financial, and theatrical districts of New York. Name this great white Selena.
Broadway.
Broadway, 20 points, Libby. Two-part question. We need both correct answers. Although United States farmers grow far more wheat than the U.S. consumes, and so help feed the world, two other nations produce far more wheat than does the United States. Who are these two leading wheat producers? 10 seconds. We need two answers. This is Chris.
Canada and China.
No, believe it or not, it is not Canada and China. A free 10-point guess now for Danbury. No guesses? Doug Thompson.
Canada and France.
No, believe it or not, it is China and the Soviet Union. China and the Soviet Union. No points. It was from the Four Oxen and the Lion. For 20 points, which fabulist also wrote United We Stand, Divided We Fall? 10 seconds. Five seconds. Time is up. Aesop, the Aesop Fables, no points. Their biblical name means separatist because they chose to separate themselves from all the others whom they deemed less than perfect. Name, okay, Chris?
Puritans.
No, not the Puritans. Now, here's the rest of the question for your free 10-point guess, Danbury. Separate themselves from all of the others whom they deemed less than perfect. Name this holier-than-thou sect frequently mentioned in the Gospels. Okay, Danbury? Okay, no answers. It is the Pharisees, the Pharisees. They are considered the fastest birds in the world. What bird of prey is this? 10 seconds. Doug Thompson.
Falcon.
That's correct. Specifically, the peregrine falcons, but you have 20 points. A three-part question now. Actually, 3 simple words will give us the answers we need. Every West Point cadet knows it. What 3 words form the U.S. Military Academy motto? 10 seconds. Doug Thompson again.
Duty, honor, country.
That's perfect. 20 points for Danbury. And 20 points are yours for naming this term from the descriptions I'm going to give you. In mathematics, it is the point on a curve at which the direction of curvation changes. In linguistics, it is a change in the form of a word for grammatical reasons, such as in to kick, kicks, and kicked. And in speech, it is the difference between excuse me, said quietly, and excuse me, said like John Belushi would do it. What is the word, Steve?
Conjugate.
Please?
Conjugate.
No, not conjugate. Free 10-point guess, Libby. Okay, Chris?
Conjugation.
No, it's inflection. Inflection. Excuse me. All right. The price of silver, well, we'll talk about the price of silver in a little bit, but right now, that's the intermission point, and we'll check the score and be right back. It's a close one today. At the halfway point, it's Libby 130, Danbury 110, and we'll be back to resume our competition in a moment. But now let's meet our contestants for the first time this season and find out what their plans might be for the future. Here's Doug Thompson from Danbury.
My name's Doug Thompson. I'm a senior at Danbury High School, and I plan to attend the University of Michigan and major in chemical engineering.
Thank you. This is David Dadich.
I'm a senior at Danbury, and I'm seeking an appointment to the United States Military Academy at West Point.
That's a good idea. Sue Ropp.
I'm a freshman at Danbury, and I plan to study education at Bowling Green.
Thank you. And this is Steve Leist.
I'm a sophomore at Danbury, and I plan to study advertising, but I'm undecided as to where.
Okay, now let's turn to Libby High School's Selena Perryman.
I'm a sophomore at Libby, and I plan to further my education in law, but I am undecided as to where.
Thank you. And this is Chris Guth.
I plan on making...
Sorry.
I attend Libby High School Junior, and I plan on making a career out of the Navy by first gaining an appointment to the United States Naval Academy at Annapolis, Maryland.
Oh, and that's a beautiful place down there. This is Michael Fairchild.
I'm Michael Fairchild. I'm a junior. I plan to take television broadcasting at Bowling Green University.
Thank you. And this is Neil Newcomb.
I'm a junior at Libby, planning on majoring in business at Indiana University.
Okay, we're delighted to have all of you with us today. And we're ready for round number 2, and this time we have one little rule change, and that is if you push the buzzer now and give us an incorrect answer, your team loses 10 points. The score is 130 to 110, Libby over Danbury, and here's the first question in round 2. The price of silver has stayed about $6 an ounce for quite a while due to a certain family slowly selling off 59 million ounces of it. With September 1986 filings for bankruptcy, at least a portion of the empire appears to be crumbling. Name this Texas family. 10 seconds. Five seconds. And the time is up. It's the Hunt family, the Hunts. He has preached from the pulpit of the Marble Collegiate Church in New York since 1932. He was the author of The Power of Positive Thinking. Doug?
Norman Vincent Peale.
Norman Vincent Peale. That's 20 for Danbury. A two-part question now. We need both correct answers. The Russian Revolution, which overthrew Tsar Nicholas II, was in no way a communist coup. The leading Bolsheviks were as surprised as anyone else and were living well outside Russia. For 20 points, which country was then the home in exile of, number 1, Vladimir Lenin, and number 2, Leon Trotsky? I need the two countries, and you have 15 seconds. Ten seconds. 5 seconds. Time is up. Lenin was Switzerland, and Trotsky was the United States of America. No points. It represents the most common vowel sound in English and is the sound of the A in the word ago, the I in the word pencil, and the E in the word taken. David?
Schwa.
That's right. And, you know, I didn't think you'd know that because I think that's a tough question. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that. It's called a schwa, and it's an upside-down E, right? Okay, 20 points, Danbury. No person shall make any film, photograph, drawing, or sound recording of any public disturbance, disorder, riot, public violence, strike, or boycott. Such is, for 20 points, the new decree issued in what beleaguered nation? Michael?
South Africa?
That's correct. 20 points for Libby. The Real Museo de Pinturas in Madrid is better known by the name of the boulevard on which it sits. Name this world-class museum in Madrid. 10 seconds. Douglas.
Privado.
I'm going to go to the judges. Judges? The judges will not accept that answer. That's 10 off for Danbury and a free 10-point guess for Libby. Okay, no time left. It is, you were very close. It's Prado, the Prado. P-R-A-D-O. All right, 3 out of 4, and here you might, it might be helpful if you wrote some of these terms down. The 6 principal causes of infectious diseases are the following. And just so you know what they are, make a little notation. They are viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa. And the next one is called rickettsia, and don't worry about spelling because that's not important, but just think of rickettsia. And the last is worms. Okay, now I'm going to give you, we need 3 out of 4 correct answers. Which of those 6 cause the following? There are 4 of these, so we need 3 correct answers. Which of those 6 causes, number 1, malaria, number 2, leprosy, number 3, trichinosis, and number 4, measles? Now match them up. You have 15 seconds to give me 3 out of 4. Ten seconds. This is Chris Gott.
First one's protozoa, second one's bacteria, the third one's protozoa, and the fourth one's virus.
That's 3 out of 4. The one you missed was trichinosis, which would be worms, but the others were correct, and Libby has 20 points. He knew and loved the ocean and the forest and is credited with creating the genres of the sea novel and the wilderness novel. Who was the author of The Pilot and the creator of Natty Bumppo? 10 seconds. Five seconds. No time left. James Fenimore Cooper. It is the glowing electrical discharge seen atop a ship's mast during a storm. What is the 1986, Steve?
St. Elmo's Fire.
St. Elmo's Fire. Correct. 20 points, Danbury. The Pacific scandal of 1873 was its Watergate, as it brought down the government of Prime Minister MacDonald and brought his Conservative Party a resounding election defeat. For 20 points, what major North American, both Andome, but for 20 points, what athletic race is held in the following? What race is held in a velodrome? And number 2, what race is held in a hippodrome? We need 2 of them. 10 seconds. This is Chris Gott.
First one's bike race and the second one's horse races.
You have it. That's correct for 20 points, Libby. A chemical substance which cannot be separated into another substance is called a what? Sue?
Element.
Element. Correct. 20 points, Danbury. Their lutine bells rang proudly in June of 1982 to celebrate the birth of Prince William. Previously, these bells had tolled for the sinking of ships and other disasters. Name this prestigious British insurance firm. Doug Thompson.
Lords of London.
That's... would you repeat, please?
Lords of London.
Judges will not accept 10 off Danbury. A free 10-point guess for Michael.
Lloyd's of London.
Lloyd's of London is the correct answer. 10 points for Libby. Eugene V. Debs, William Haywood, the McNamara brothers, Richard Loeb, Nathan Leopold, and John Scopes, who defended them all in famous court cases. 5 seconds. David?
Abby Hoffman.
No, not Abby Hoffman. That's 10 off for Danbury and Libby, a free 10-point guess. No guesses, it is Clarence Darrow. Clarence Darrow. A two-part question. We need both answers. Since the end of World War II, there have been regular public opinion polls rating each president's performance. For 20 points, which post-World War II president did the following in the polls? Number one, which president achieved both the highest and lowest approval rates, 87% and 23%, in the 1940s and 50s? And number two, which president never had an approval rating below 50% in the 1960s? Doug Thompson.
First one's Roosevelt, and the second one is Kennedy.
No, that would not be correct. 10 off Danbury, a free 10-point guess for Libby. Chris.
First one's Truman and the second one's Kennedy.
That's correct. Truman and Kennedy, 10 points, Libby. The word is the same. In popular speech, it's an annoying or disgusting person, while in political history, it's a slang acronym for Richard Nixon's 1972 re-election committee. What is the common word? 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Surap.
Creep.
Creep, that's correct. 20 Danbury. His works are all classics. David Copperfield, The Pickwick Papers, Oliver Twist, Selina Perryman.
Charles Dickens.
You're right. Okay, 20 points, Livy. He followed up an extraordinarily successful 1939 novel with the sequels Up into the Singing Mountain and I Shall Sleep. Down Where the Moon is Small, but none of his later works ever matched the success of How Green Was My Valley. Name this Welsh writer. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Time's up. Richard Llewellyn was the author. And this is it. That's the end of the game, and we'll have the final score right after this word.
Children's Wonderland, a traditional holiday celebration for all ages. Come and see some of the most beautiful Christmas displays under one roof at the Lucas County Recreation Center in Maumee. Children's Wonderland is open through December 31st. Adults are admitted for $1.75 and only 75 cents for kids. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. and Sunday, 11 until 9. Plenty of free parking. Don't miss Children's Wonderland at the Lucas County Rec Center in Maumee.
Time is running out, so you better hurry to your Chrysler Plymouth dealers before January 1st, because right now you can get 3.9% financing or $500 cash back on Plymouth Reliant. Plus, 86 is the last year you can deduct the state sales tax on your federal income tax return. That means hundreds of dollars in deductions on everything, including new Plymouth Voyager or luxurious Chrysler New Yorker. So hurry in now before time runs out!
Hurry now to Grogan Chrysler Plymouth, Jackman Road between Lasky and Alexis.
Here's the final score of today's game. It is Libby High School 250, Danbury High School 170. So Libby wins the right to move to round 2 in the high school quiz. We want to thank our judges, Dennis Greer of DeVilbiss, Gail Forsey of Sylvania Southview. Next week, their teams, Southview and DeVilbiss, meet here on the high school quiz. Now let's close with a round of applause for all of today's great contestants.
All questions used in high school quiz are researched and authenticated by the Magazine Editorial Research Department of Time Incorporated, publishers of Time, Sports Illustrated, Money, Discovery, People, and other publications in the College Bowl Library.
Hi, welcome to STN. I'm Bonnie Duritsky, a junior at DeVilbiss High School.
And I'm Todd Myers, a junior at Start High School.
And I'm Sherry Streeter, a junior at Libby High School. Most of the time, our shows are focused on high school students. But in this show, we will take a look at a unique preschool program at Glendale Philbach Elementary. Our crew had fun taping this story. Some of the things the children did remind us of our own younger brothers and sisters.
Many of you may have proms and prom parties to go to in the next few weeks, or maybe some of you are going on a spring vacation and you want to look your best. We thought you would be interested in some spring fashions that may help you save lots of time rushing around looking for the perfect outfit.
On each show, we have a Man on the Street segment where we go to different locations around the city and ask the public a specific question. Well, this time we asked what we thought was a simple question. We found out that our question wasn't so simple after all. Also, STN reporter Eldon Payne will introduce us to a very special swim club. Among the members of this club is a nationally ranked record holder who is in the 7th grade at Burndale Junior High School. All this and more when STN returns.
Well, fans, it all comes down to this moment. This is where it all gets decided. Johnson steps in, checks the signs, makes a few adjustments. This is a classic confrontation. He's digging in. Here's the delivery. And there it goes. He's going back, way back. It is going. It is gone.
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
The ball game's over.
My master has the latest of everything. There's his snapper pack and sack, most advanced grass catcher on earth. Comes only on high vac, holds 1/3 more clippings, even tells you when it's full. Easy to empty, slides like a drawer, bags grass right in machine. Master loves his snapper pack and sack. I think I'm a little jealous.
Huss Lawnmower, Star Avenue, East Toledo. Fred's Pro Hardware, Stickney, Toledo. Speeds Repair.